into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's time to wrap up our Week 1 Rocket League Spring Rumble. Last week we set up our grand finals for the lower and upper brackets, and today we'll start out in the lower bracket grand finals between the Wolves and Surge Blue. I'm your host, Artie Nerdy Bird Rain, and joining me to call all of the action is Joe Tacky Chigbrow, correct?
Chigbrow. Yep.
I'm going to say I got pretty gosh darn close. All right, so last week, there was a couple things that you requested of the teams, and hopefully we're going to see those changes moving into this week. But more exactly, what are you wanting to see different versus last week as we go into the grand finals?
Well, I think every team did a good job of showing their strengths and weaknesses and what they've clearly been focusing on when they practice. But I think most of all, what every team needs is to clean up those rotations and make sure that we're avoiding running into each other. We're making sure we're spread out so that we have the option to pass to each other. And if things go badly, we're available if something needs to be hit.
All right, so one of the things we'll definitely be checking on today is those rotations. However, we are not the only ones who have information to share. However, before we get to that special keys to the game, we'll be talking about the lower bracket. We had last week the Monkeys go against the Wolves, and Surge Blue and Surge White battle it out, resulting in our grand final standings currently between the Esports Tower Wolves and Surge Blue. Okay, so we want to see cleaner rotations. I personally want also to see demolitions that are being utilized a little bit better, because we did see them happen, but they weren't quite in situations that we felt as though they were being capitalized on. And this is our upper bracket from last week as well. We had the Esports Tower Eagles take on the Vipers, and the Barracudas take on the Flares. This resulted in our grand final matchup we'll see later tonight of the Esports Tower Eagles taking on the Barracudas. This is kind of like a battle of the powerhouses between those two teams, as they're constantly at the top, and I feel like we might see the Eagles finally topple the Barracudas.
I mean, I definitely think it's up there. I think all these teams have the talent to bring it home today, but I definitely think the Barracudas and the Eagles have been prime showing up until this point. And as far as they go, they definitely have been the teams with the least mistakes to point out. And I think you made a good point earlier about demos. Demos are kind of something that goes along with that. If you have good rotations and you're working on Doc's keys to the game, you'll probably open up more opportunities for that. And
these are Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League, which are create mistakes, punish the overcommit, play the walls better, and demo in the goal. Doc's keys are presented by esportstower.com, where you can score pro advice to improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. As we get ready to jump into this match, I want to give a quick reminder to everyone that is watching on Twitch. You should support your team, celebrate the successes, and be respectful to the other fans. Mods will remove anyone who violates these chat rules, so have fun, be spirited, and make sure you root for your side kindly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, well, we'll be jumping into our first series of the night between Surge Blue facing off for the lower bracket grand finals, and both teams are looking strong this week, so let's hope this best of 7 series that we have coming up goes all the way to the very end. As we jump into the first kickoff, it does look like the Wolves had the better of the touch, but the follow-up was just not quite there. Never mind, it was, and almost God manages to find the first goal for Surge Blue.
Yeah, just in the first few seconds, disasters for the Wolves, as it just seems like, wow, we had 2 people sitting up in that far left corner, and you got to wonder, why are we that close to each other?
All right, let's see if this next kickoff can go a little bit more in favor of the Wolves. The 50-50 does look like it's kind of dead in the middle. However, the follow-up touch from the Wolves was there off the backboard. There's not a tertiary touch, though, and Tove will be able to get the better touch of that one. Now it's off the wall here on the Surge Blue side of the field, going into the mid. Touch from Almost God's going to bring it to the back there to the Wolves, but it's immediately volleyed back over towards the side of Surge Blue.
Yeah, there's definitely an explosive start from both teams here. Another goal almost being scored in the first few seconds of that kickoff, and I think we're really seeing that aggression come out from both of these very talented teams.
We have Tove with possession. Manages to play it around 1. Is going to go off the wall and pop it up, try to regain possession, but does lose it out to Kid. Almost comes in to help out. We've got multiple members of the Wolves kind of bunched up here, though, in the middle third of the field. Might make it difficult for them to find a clear. As Tove goes for the shot, and it goes right in.
Yeah, to hand it to Tove. That was a brilliantly placed shot. He took the time to look at where the defenders were and weren't, and he found that empty slot in the back corner where no one was on back post, and that's just another rotational issue like I pointed out before.
We're at the 4-minute and 10-second mark. Already Surge Blue starting to pull in the lead, and it looked like an awkward miscommunication on kickoff. Actually allows the Wolves to capitalize, being the back third now on Surge Blue. Follow-up touch there, unfortunately, will go a little bit wide as we see a collision between 2 Wolves members.
And I think upon further examination, I think Surge Blue actually might have planned that. It looked like the guy going for the kickoff flipped away from the ball. It looked like they were probably going for a fake kickoff, which we haven't seen a lot of so far this tournament. And, you know, it turned this round into a victory for them, so you got to hand it to them. It was a good strategy.
Absolutely brilliant coming out from them. I don't honestly know how it completely worked out in their favor, but it did, and unfortunately, Quaddale was not able to prevent that goal from going in. Still, being only down 3 goals with more than 3 minutes on the clock is a easy gap to close for the Wolves, but they have to start focusing on cleaning up these rotations.
Yeah, definitely. The rotations are what's plaguing the Wolves the most right now. But right here, arguably, it's a kind of a mix. We've got a whiff on the wall, and then no one to back up the play. No one back post at all, even close to the play. And so it just makes it so 2 different players can take an easy free shot at the net there.
One of the things I would like to point out is that Rocket League Esports Tower players are notorious for taking the first game as a means to kind of scout out their opponents and their strategies and then coming back swinging and as a powerhouse in the next one. So let's hope that's exactly what the Wolves are planning to do here. As the score gap's increasing, it's looking like the Wolves are starting to struggle more and more, and hopefully those nerves are not getting to them as that score gap gets higher. We do have the ball getting corralled here in the corner by Axe. Axe does manage to maintain it for a little bit, but dunking it down unfortunately goes right to Tove for the Surge Blues, so Wolves lose out on their possession for a few moments.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about taking this time to maybe observe what the other team is doing and try to play around it. Ooh, another goal for Tove. A great flick over by his teammate beforehand. But something you have to consider is that at the end of the day, between every goal and at the end of the first match, you know, they'll only be up by 1. It's not a lot. So it's definitely still something they can surpass, even if they're getting destroyed right now.
It also is a best-of-7 series, so let's hope Surge Blue is not completely gassing themselves out trying to get a large score differential here in Game 1, because as you just mentioned, it's only 1 game out of 7.
Yeah, definitely agree. There's a lot of time in the game still, and you have to make sure that whatever energy you're bringing, you're able to keep the entire time. But, I mean, that's just a part of big team mentality, and if you're working hard on that too, as well as all the other game mechanics, you should be fine.
We have Twiz try to get possession of the ball. They do unfortunately lose it out in the midfield. Now we've got Quaddale dunking it down in front of Surge Blue's goal, but Tove on the follow-up prevents a opportunity for the rebound shot to happen and brings it across the map for another goal for Surge Blue.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really, really happy to see the shot intelligence from Tove here, seeing where the enemy is. He chose to put it low, seeing that the enemy was going for it off the wall. If he puts it low, there's no way for him to block that.
And Tove actually did, I believe, just get a hat trick for themselves, and I do think Twiz also got one a little bit earlier, so double hat tricks for Surge Blue right now. Wolves looking to find goal number 1. Closing out a round with a 0 to a 6 is a little bit heartbreaking for any team looking for that morale boost right now. They still got 2 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock to start putting some goals on that board. Let's see if they can do it as they go for this clear. Quaddale playing it off the wall to center it up to one of their teammates.
Yeah, and I definitely think the pressure is still on Wolves right now. They're doing a good job of generally getting an output. Surge Blue has just been doing an excellent job of making sure no matter what attempt the Wolves make to get out of their end, it's turned into nothing.
We did have quite a risky back pass there from the Wolves as well, playing it off their backboard in order to rebound it. It did result in Surge Blue maintaining a lot of possession on the back third of the Wolves side of the field. Finally, we see a clear and a demo come out, but unfortunately it was onto one of the Wolves, so they have to start adjusting rotations here as this clear is hitting the midfield from Surge Blue.
Yeah, and I'm definitely still impressed by the aggression from both teams. Both teams aren't pulling any punches still, but it just seems like the cleaner Rocket League from the blue is kind of just pushing it just over the edge for them.
Tove managed to take quite a few touches there, trying to play it over to Twiz TV. It is right in front of the Wolves' goal. We see a demo that could open up a goal-scoring opportunity, but the rotations just weren't quite there. Ball at the midfield. Tove's going to stop it, drag it down. Does look like Axe might be able to get a touch on it. Kid's going to follow it up, sending it to the side, playing it around 1. Let's see if they can center it up to one of their teammates as they have a lot of pressure on them from Surge Blue. They find Quaddale, and Quad will find the first goal for the Wolves.
Yeah, I just felt like that one was a defensive breakdown from the blue for the first time in this set. It was kind of weird because it did stem off a double commit team bump from the Wolves between, I think, Axe and Quaddale.
Well, now we have 50 seconds left in this one. It does look like the kickoff was won by the Wolves by Quaddale there. But unfortunately, there was just not enough follow-up for the Wolves to maintain possession. Ball gets dropped right in front of the goal. A follow-up touch, unfortunately, will not be found. And thankfully for the Wolves, it goes wide of the goal. Kid with possession loses it to Almost God, who has to play it around 1. But they can't get the follow-up touch, but Tove will, bringing the Surge Blue score up to 7.
Yeah, that pressure just broke down. You see Almost God got past 2 of the defenders here, and all it took from there is one good 50-50 to push it by and free in the middle of the net.
We've got 32 seconds left. I do not think the Wolves can score 6 goals in that amount of time. Just seems way too difficult even for the top teams of Rocket League to pull off. We can see the ball's right in front of the Wolves' goal. Quaddale's trying to dunk it down and clear it, but their teammates are kind of bunched up too much for an easy clear to happen. Communication seems to be struggling between them right now. Finally, Quad gets possession of it. It's going to play it over to the side. 15 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if they can make something happen and put another goal on that board for themselves.
Yeah, I think at this point, Wolves just have to be thinking about, okay, what's our plan for next game? Let's take a mental reset. Let's get our comms all straightened out. Deep breath. Next game, we're back on an even playing field. We have just as many goals as they do, and now we just need to reset.
If you were to be the one inside of the Wolves' comms right now, what would you be telling them in order to help them kind of get past what just happened and keep going forward?
Well, I think a lot of positive reinforcement will go a long way. I say this a lot when I'm talking to other Rocket League players and when I'm coaching and stuff, is that it's good to have a lot of maybe even unnecessary positive energy because it will go a long way. You need that momentum to keep shifting you towards the right direction, even if it goes badly. And so a lot of positive reinforcement saying, hey, we got the next one. Don't worry about it. It's even playing field. Play it like it's game 1. There's still a whole much Rocket League left.
All right. Well, let's hope that these players manage to get advice similar to that. If not, they have the stream open and heard those words of advice, because that is very similar to what I always say as well. As we jump into game number 2, really hoping to see this be a lot more even than we just got to witness. And I want to see cleaner rotations and a lot less bunching up from the Wolves in game number 2. Does look like we have all of the players loaded in. I do not see any roster swaps for either of these two teams either. Nope, we do not, but the first kickoff is fantastic coming from the Wolves, and Quaddale is going to find goal number 1 in literally 1 second.
Yeah, regardless of why that goal was scored, and that being a bad 50-50, you got to say that would give the Wolves a lot of positive energy and momentum coming into this with an advantage in the first few seconds.
Let's see if they can maintain that lead for themselves. The next 50-50 goes in favor of Twiz. It is going to be shot wide of the goal. The follow-up is also going to be from Twiz as it dunks down in front of the goal. Quaddale tries to get possession, but it's shot right back off the back wall. There's a lot of physical aggression from the Wolves, preventing any clean possession for Surge Blue happening right now. As the ball gets cleared to the midfield, there's a touch from Tove. Is it going to find its way into the net? It will not, because of that crossbar.
And a little bit of hesitation there from Twiz, and I feel like maybe this aggression and this fluency of strikes so far for Wolves has kind of left Surge Blue on the back foot.
It does seem like they were not ready, almost like the Wolves decided that they're going to start out seeming a little bit underskilled in comparison, and now they're just going full force after they've judged Surge Blue for what they can do to them. And there's a lot more bumping and just pushing around the members of Surge Blue to ensure that possession's not easy for them to maintain as Quaddale brings the ball in front of the goal. It does get cleared by Twiz at the last second, though, still on the back third to Surge Blue side of the field.
Yeah, I think the mechanicals and consistency from the Wolves have taken a massive step up from game 1. You see a lot more contact with the ball, and they're going for a lot more stuff, playing with a lot more confidence. So you gotta think that those comms right now are remaining really positive, and they really turned it around from last game.
The coaches actually have been very impressed with the Wolves and how quickly they've learned to work as a team, despite the fact that, from what we've been told, they are a brand new roster. And right now, you really wouldn't be able to tell with how well they managed to maintain side control and ball control there for a while. The ball is on their side of the field in front of their goal. Tove's trying to drop it down to Almost God. It does get cleared to the midfield by Quaddale into the back corner where Twiz TV is waiting. However, that possession's immediately taken away by one of the Wolves members.
And you can kind of see Blue maybe even scrambling, a couple double commits, kind of just trying to figure out what they're doing. And it just feels like maybe the communication might be breaking down.
Let's hope they start to find their rhythm here soon. We do see another collision between Tove and Twiz at the midfield. It does allow Kid to get possession. Axe will pop it up and send it to Quaddale. Tove elevates, it hits the ceiling, dropping down to the Surge Blue players. Rotations coming out to go to the back post from Wolves right now as the ball is on the back third of the Wolves side of the field. Twiz has possession, but it's taken away by Quaddale, who just throws their car in front of them. And unfortunately, though, they put one too many touches and pushed the ball too forward. Shot on goal, turned away by Tove.
Yeah, definitely even after I just said that, there were 3 or 4 double commits from Surge Blue, and you got to wonder what's their plan to fix this, because this cannot work later on.
Perhaps they are going to need to use this entire 5-minute series in order to adjust and adapt to what the Wolves have decided to throw at them, because this is so different. However, Tove still finds a way, bringing us to 1 aside, 2 minutes, 19 seconds on the clock. That's much longer time span between both of those goals than we saw in Game 1, meaning things have drastically changed for both of these teams.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I, again, have to be super impressed with Tove. He's always finding a way to put the shot away from the defenders, make it as difficult for them as possible. And in that circumstance, they weren't ready, and he found the back of the net.
Tove again, another shot on goal, hits the crossbar. Secondary touch from Tove finds goal number 2. Surge Blue pulling ahead by 1. Still plenty of time on the clock, though, for the Wolves to even out this scoreboard.
Yeah, Tove, definitely the all-star so far for this game. And he definitely showed himself last game, too. He's definitely a character to keep his eye on.
I have no idea what in the world was happening for the last 2 minutes or so for Surge Blue, but it seems like they finally got the gears greased up and are working well as a team once again. We do see Tove going for the challenge against Quaddale. The follow-up touch from Almost God will help maintain possession on the back third of the Wolves side of the field. Almost God will finally lose out their possession to one of the Wolves players, Quaddale, now looking for a pass to get it clear, but a double demo from Almost will take down 2 of the Wolves players.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that I've seen so far is just simply not looking ahead and thinking about, hey, my teammate's in front of me, he might have a better touch than me, so I probably need to wait a second and see what's going on. Because if all else fails, if communication's too slow or uncomfortable, you can at least use your eyes to break down the play and make a decision from there.
Let's see if that's words of advice that these players will start picking up on. I've definitely noticed myself that too many touches result in a possession loss. You got to do the give and the go. Otherwise, you're just going to get pressure put on you. You've got Axe going off the back wall, centering up to Quaddale. Quad, though, not quite at the right angle and allows Quiz to come in, takes a shot on goal, and it will barely pinch off into the corner, into the back of the net.
Yeah, clear defensive breakdown here from the Wolves, as we had one guy in the way there, and then that guy just didn't have enough time to get boost and also show up. But you also have to hand it to Twiz. He did put it in the spot that would be the most difficult for the defenders to get to.
Minute and 11 on the clock. Definitely closer score than we saw in the other game. 3-1. Wolves still have an opportunity here, but they need to start cleaning up these back post rotations and not leaving people open by suffering from double commits. Quaddale, though, bringing the ball in the air, has to junk it down, but unfortunately goes right to Tove. There's a clear coming out from Twiz, who's going to elevate over and try to get it past Quaddale. Quaddale on the ground spikes it up above their net. However, the follow-up from Almost God finds goal number 4.
Yeah, and a disaster situation for the Wolves there. It was a really hard pass off the wall to save, admittedly. Those are super hard to read. It's super hard to get a positive clear out, but the problem didn't just start there. It started in midfield when we lost 2 consecutive 50-50s in a row.
Got 50 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if the Wolves can close this gap up just a little bit. Kickoff resulted in almost a stagnant play at the mid where Quaddale manages to come in, now dragging it down in front of the Surge Blue goal. Double commit allows it to get cleared. Kid is rotating back, tries to get it clear out with the demolition. It might be a chance as Axe now is pushing forward with Kid there to pass to. Ball's taken away for a few moments. Still on back there to Surge Blue side of the field.
Ooh, a disaster play. Kind of broke rule number 1 of high-level Rocket League, is taking the ball across your own net. You're asking to get scored on. Even the best touches can be read by the enemies, and even right there, even though he's trying to pinch it against the ground and it should be hard to read, just had to drive up and knock it in.
And all 3 members of Surge Blue were right there on the ground as well. Not really something you want to see. Going into the next 50-50, no one really goes after it immediately, but we do see Quaddale finally get a touch, sending it to Kid. Quad's trying to push Tove away from the ball. Shot on goal from Kid will be found. 15 seconds on the clock. Wolves only down by 1.
We could definitely see a comeback right here. We're definitely seeing a lot of momentum from the Wolves. You got to imagine that those comms are really hype right now. They're getting each other ready for this last 15 seconds. Could be the most important 15 seconds of the entire series.
Next 50-50 is won by Twiz, sent into the back corner on the Wolves side of the field. Shot on goal, hits the crossbar, 9 seconds left. Quaddale has to play it around 1, plays it, but the follow-up touch from Kid may not be there in time. They're going to bring it off the wall to try and get it elevated. If this ball touches the ground, that's it. And unfortunately, for the Wolves, Surge Blue squeak by up by 1 in game number 2. Well, Taggy, if you want to, get seen by some expert college recruiters and possibly, get industry insider access, or, at the end of the day, level up your teaming skills, because those are also very important in your chances of success, you should definitely check out Esports Tower. Esports Tower really takes the time to create well-matched teams, and I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Jake, and if you're watching and haven't checked out the Esports Tower Club, you definitely should. It's a fast track to help you rank up. Oh, wow. That's a lot more even than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think this is kind of just a perfect example of how these teams should be really on par with each other. These games shouldn't be as blowouty as they have been in the first minute and in the next 3 afterwards in that game. It was very back and forth. A lot of defense played from both sides, but I think what it just comes down to is it feels like Blue is just playing more consistently. It feels like the kind of breakdowns that Wolves have, especially on defense and rotation-wise, and especially in the midfield, just don't happen with Blue. And it feels like they're so close to being these teams that should battle it out like crazy, but it's just the momentum keeps swinging.
So consistency is what the Wolves should be working on as we go into game number 3. But I feel like for Surge Blue also, it's keeping those comms open, because we noticed, especially after the first goal was scored by the Wolves, that it seemed like things broke down a little bit, and it just got ugly at times, and that's a result of just not keeping comms open. At least that's what I'm thinking is happening.
Yeah, I definitely think looking at Blue, that should be their main focus, but I'm not too worried about it because they got their momentum back towards the end, and they worked it out. We didn't see nearly as many double commits, so I'm expecting that they'll have the same kind of mentality rolling into this that they used to reset last time.
All right, let's see how the first 50-50 goes. Everyone has spawned in. No substitutions have been made. Twiz gets the first touch on it with very little contest. Is now bringing it off the wall, has an opportunity to center it up for themselves or someone else. They are unfortunately taking too many touches, and it's taken away in mid-flight by Axe. Now Quaddale at the mid has to play it around 2 as Twiz rotates back. They pop it up over 1. The follow-up touch is not there, so Tove's going to take it away to the midfield. Quaddale now bringing it across the field, gets a great touch on it, but it's a little bit too high. Tove dunks it down. Quad still maintaining possession, though. It's going to bring it into the mid of the field. There's no one in front of them just yet, and the awkward secondary touch they take is worth it as they find goal number 1.
Yeah, it was an impressive mechanical play, but I gotta wonder what's going on with Blue here. It seems like we have no one playing the net, and the one person who tried to save it had to come off the backboard. They were just nowhere near ready for that play.
I'll be honest, I didn't know where the Wolves were at that point either. Like, there wasn't someone ready for the follow-up touch. We do see the next kickoff goes in favor of Surge Blue. The follow-up there is going to come out of the Wolves, though. Axe pushing the ball towards the back wall on Surge Blue's side of the field. Off the backboard, they're looking for Quad to come help. Quad gets in, however, the angle's just not perfect, and they will lose out possession. Kid tries to come through and help out as well. Unfortunately, now Kid over-rotated. The goal is wide open. Quaddale gets it at the last second, stopping almost got shot from going in.
It looks like a little bit of team confusion, a lot of back and forth, people being pulled. I'm not really sure what that is.
Well, hopefully it works itself out as we're already past the 1-minute mark in this round. Now Quaddale has opportunity to get a touch on this ball, instead leaves it for Axe, who's going to center it up to Quaddale, but Quad couldn't reach it in time, so almost got getting in that passing lane, steals it away, looking to center it up for a teammate off the back wall, but before they can, they took too many touches. Now Quaddale with possession again has an opportunity to center it up to a teammate as all 3 members of Surge Blue are right in front of them.
Ooh.
I guess they don't need the assistance from a team if you can play it around
Yeah.
all 3 members of Surge Blue like that.
Quandale out here making his second solo play of the day, and the second one that went completely well. He outplayed 2 different defenders, cut it past him, and found the back of the net.
Let's hope Quad does not spend a lot of time on the respawn screen, as sometimes when a player shines that brightly, they end up getting demoed a lot. Quad plays it around 1, but can't play it around the other one. They choose to take out the goalkeeper instead. This might be a shot on goal. It's not, because Twiz is going to push it away just in time. Now Axe tries to come in to help out. They have the opportunity, but before they can, Tove dunks it around them. Quaddale coming back in, has all 3 members of Surge Blue directly in front of them. The clear happens, but does look like Kid will get it first before any of Surge Blue can touch it.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, what's surprising me is the most common denominator of all 3 of these games so far has been the goal that's been scored in the first, sometimes 30 or 45 seconds. And sometimes it kind of feels like that pressure wears off so quickly afterwards, as both teams either get too defensive or just can't quite find a grip on the play.
Well, let's hope that that's not what's going to happen in this game. Definitely want to see both these teams start spreading out a bit more. It looks like Surge Blue is just being kind of caught off guard quite a bit now. They managed to make it back in the last game, but it seemed that that comeback happened about now for them, so they need to start pushing everything into full gear and working together as a unit. Tobey's pushed forward, has 2 on them, but does not maintain possession. Quaddale now looking to play it around Twiz. They have Kid by them for the pass. They've managed to get it around Twiz, but can they get it around the other 2? Somehow, magically, again, they can, finding their hat trick in a third back-to-back solo play style.
Yeah, I've got to wonder if that's the decision they tried to make to kind of flip the momentum in their favor, and so far it's worked. It was kind of a bad 50-50 from Twiz, but it's definitely not an adjustment that they can't fix.
Next kickoff goes in favor of Surge Blue, which sent far into the back on the Wolves side of the field. Shot on goal from Twiz will find goal number 1 for Surge Blue. 2 minutes still left on the clock. Plenty of time, literally 1 goal a minute will bring them tied if they want to at least bring us to an overtime. Wolves looking for a couple extra goals here themselves. Currently, though, game differential, Surge Blue is in the lead, so the Wolves need to start winning now if they want the opportunity to continue in this series.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The momentum shift has kind of already begun, as you can see. And I think that was a really impressive shot from Twiz to read that ball so well and find the back of the net with such heat.
Let's see if Twiz can do it again. Right now, though, Kid has possession on the back third of Surge Blue's side of the field. Has to play it around 1, but does lose it out to one of the Surge players. Axe comes in to help them. It goes into the corner, trying to corral it around Tobey there. Quaddale spikes it up. It's in front of the Surge Blue goal. Does get cleared by Twiz to the side to Tobey. Tobey now bringing it up. Decides to elevate. Unfortunately, though, loses out that ball in the elevation. Quaddale takes out the goalkeeper, and the ball goes rolling in.
Yeah, this is an impressive display from Quandale.
What?
Whether or not it's all about opponent's mistakes or anything else, Quandale is doing an excellent job of making sure to find the back of the net just by breaking down defenses and playing in ways that are unpredictable for the enemies.
I think someone spawned right in front of Quaddale off of a demolition as they went into the goal, and they managed to get just right in the perfect pathway for Quaddale to take them out. That's so unfortunate.
Well, yeah, it looked like he had tried to roll up and maybe make a defensive play, but at that point, Quandale had the momentum and the ball going the right way, so he could just go around and get the demo.
All right, we are crossing into the 1-minute territory now. Surge Blue currently down by 3. That's a goal every 20 seconds if they want to equalize this out and bring us into overtime. Wolves, though, drastically different animals than we saw in the first couple of games. Are up by 3 currently. Ball is on their side of the field. Twiz looking to center it up. Does lose out possession. Ball is going to be dunked down on the ground by Tobey to Almost God. The Almost God gets the second touch as the Wolves are there first. Ball kind of free-falling now in the midfield where Quaddale dunks it down. No teammates in front of them, but Surge Blue has over-rotated. Can they center it up to a teammate? They will not be able to, as Axe was just not there in time.
Yeah, I like the momentum shift here, but it just kind of feels like the power isn't quite there yet from Blue. It feels like they've been caught off foot by maybe this new strategy from the Wolves. It seems like they might be relying on Quandale a lot more to make the offensive pressure, and then just relying on Kids and Axe to keep the consistency at the midfield.
Quite the over-rotation just happened from Surge Blue, leaving their goal open. Lucky for them, Axe shot was a little bit too wide. 1 second left on the clock. Ball hits the ground, and the Wolves will walk away with game number 3 in their back pocket.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, wow. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to look at there? Look at Quandale. All those shots and goals, and you can see he'd made 4 total shots. Or no. Yeah, no, he made 4 total goals, and he has only 6 shots. So his his conversion ratio is very high this game, and not a whole lot going on with axing Kids, but that's arguably because they did a really good job of playing the midfield and giving Quandale the opportunity to score those goals.
I'm really interested to see how that shakes out in the next game because, like I mentioned, if you tend to be an all-star player like that in one round, odds are you'll spend quite a bit of time on the respawn screen in the next because someone will just dedicate their life to making you regret your decisions of being a good player for the last round. But right now, Surge Blue is still currently up by 1 game, and the Wolves only have 1. This is a best of 7, so no one's quite at match point, though, but this does guarantee that I believe we'll see at least 6 games.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I feel like what definitely Blue should be looking for these next 5 minutes is looking for opportunities to not only find the demo on Quandale, but if they can't, if they're stuck in there, and try to find the demos on the people playing back as well. Just demos. Because if you find a demo on someone on the back, you open up the hole that you might need to put it onto the other end of the field and then make a play from there. All
right. Well, there's the keys of advice from Tacky, meaning have fun being on the respawn screen, and if you're Surge Blue, look for those demolitions. Hopefully you'll get the demolitions Demolition Expert medal in the process, but we are about to jump into game number 4. Wolves currently have 1 in their pocket, while Surge Blue is up by 1, having 2 wins for them. Let's see who comes out on top of this one. Are the Wolves going to clutch it out again and equalize the game differential, or will Surge Blue walk away with the game 3 win for themselves?
I'm automatically ready for that first 30-second goal. Although it looks like we've been stuck kind of on the defensive end for a little bit here from both teams. Now the pressure's switching, so who's to say, really?
We do have Kid with possession in front of the Surge Blue goal. They will be challenged, though, by Almost God. It's going to get taken away for a few moments. Quaddale, though, manages to get in there and maintain possession and side control for the Wolves. Axe elevates, dunks it into the goal, turned away by Tove at the last second, who's now trying to carry it out up the side of the field. Awkward collision happening mid-flight there still allows Tove to maintain possession, sending it to Almost God, but the ball is dying down on momentum in front of the Wolves' goal. Will there be a clear? There will not, as Tove will elevate, popping it over, trying to get it to Almost God, but it's disrupted by Quaddale, sending it to the side on the back third of Surge Blue's field.
Yeah, and Surge Blue definitely had an offensive mishap. Twiz accidentally bumped Tove at one point, which relieved pressure for both of them, but oh, wow. What a flick from Almost God. An impressive shot, to say the least. He's got a solo play of his own here, dribbling it past one and then flicking past Axe to find that top corner banger.
That was very clean. Definitely the longest first goal out of all games thus far that we've seen. The second 50-50 goes in favor of Quaddale, but Tove on their side of the field grabs it, now looking to corral it. They don't have a lot of pressure just yet. Axe comes in still. They managed to get the pass over to Twiz. Is there a centering opportunity? There is to Almost God, but Quaddale jumping in that passing lane, volleys it down to the Surge Blue side of the field. Shot on goal, a little bit too wide. Axe trying to regain possession here. He's getting thrown around a lot by Almost God. Twiz now pops it behind them, sending it to Almost God. We see a double demo between Twiz and Quaddale happen.
Yeah, and I think just by looking at it, I've kind of just now noticed that Axe made the change to the dominance, and usually card choice doesn't matter too much, but the big thing here is that choosing to switch cars in the middle of a match is usually detrimental. You usually have to reset your mindset to some extent with the mechanics, and it can sometimes be a complete throw-off to your momentum that you had before. And you have to wonder whether or not it was even necessary after a win from last game, too.
Let's hope it's not detrimental. We do see a shot on goal and not a lot of opportunity to defend for the Wolves. So Surge Blue is going to find goal number 2. 3 minutes and 4 seconds still on the clock. Plenty of time for the Wolves to bring this one back. However, it seems like they're missing an element to their gameplay right now. What that element is, I can't quite figure out.
Well, that time around, it was definitely the double commit from Axe, coming all the way out of the corner in the air to try to block that when his teammate was already up. It just left the net really open, even though his teammate was already beat.
Got Quaddale now dunking the ball at the mid, but unfortunately Twiz was the one to get it. It does get bumped high in the air with a little help from Axe. Ball still at the midfield. Finally, Tove with possession in the air, dragging it into the corner. Has to play it around 2, and they unfortunately will lose out their dribble. Almost God comes in to maintain possession for Surge Blue. Is in front of the goal, sees Twiz, but before they can get the clean pass, it is disrupted by, I believe that was Axe.
Definitely a lot of back and forth here. The midfield is definitely the highlight of this game. A lot of messing around, seeing how we can get it past the other team, seeing how many commits we can get out of the enemy team before we get it past them, because that's a big decider of whether or not you're going to be able to turn that possession into a goal.
I find that really interesting because I seem to recall last week you requesting that the players focus a little bit more on that midfield play as opposed to just the long clears across the field. So seeing that change made probably a good thing, right?
Oh, definitely. Last week, a big issue for me was how we spent so much time in the midfield, but it was a lot of throwing away possession over and over again, rather than playing the midfield to hold possession and try to bait out enemy defenders. And this time, we're just seeing a lot of that right there. The shot all the way from midfield because we baited out the defender. The net was just open.
Surge Blue currently up by 3, just under 2 minutes left on the clock. Wolves struggling to find a foothold here, win the kickoff, but cannot maintain possession. Tove comes in, pushes the ball a little too far forward, so their possession's disrupted by Quaddale, who plays it around Almost God. Can they get it around Twiz? They cannot. Ball pushed too far forward. It's going to be spiked down off the ceiling. Axe trying to get in here and maintain possession. Does not have pressure on them. Gets help from Quaddale, but Twiz off the back wall, gets a little touch on it, and Tove now with possession, looking to bring it up to the midfield.
Ooh, and pass across his net again. Super dangerous, but we've baited out 2 defenders on a double commit. That should never happen. He can make the most awkward shot he wants. It can go as slow as he wants. He will find the back of the net because right there, again, another double commit. And it's hard to say who's really at fault there because what it does need to come down to is communication.
Hopefully we do not see an open goal opportunity like that be taken advantage of again by the Surge Blue. Twiz wins the 50-50. Quaddale, though, decides to take them out in order to give them a little breath of fresh air and possession for a few moments. Ball above the Wolves' goal does get dropped down over to Quaddale. Crossing the midfield, has to play it around Tove and Twiz. Can they do it? They do have Axe to help them out. Unfortunately, though, Axe overdrives and cannot get a touch on it. Ball still in front of the Surge Blue goal. Gets pushed away finally to the side by Almost God. But all three members of Surge Blue are quite close to one another, so the clear cannot happen. Quaddale drags the ball in front of the net all the way across, though. Needs to find a centering opportunity to a teammate and not try to get it in themselves, but that doesn't matter. They do, on their third or fourth attempt, find the back of the goal.
Yeah, and a critical error from the blue defender here, maybe committing a little too early or a little too late, but at that point, the shot's been taken. If you go, you will miss, and that's exactly what happened.
We do still have 50 seconds left. That's enough time to score a few goals. We've seen 4 get scored in 30 as a kickoff. It results in a demo on a Quaddale. Axe trying to get possession of the ball in mid-flight. Can't quite get a touch on it. Quad now in the corner, gets pushed around by Tove, so they can't get it clear. Almost God centers it up for Twiz, but it's too far forward. Axe now at the mid, has to try and steal this ball away from Twiz. They unfortunately can't. Twiz slowing down, maintains possession, bringing it forward. Quaddale disrupts. Shot on goal, but it will not find its way to the back third.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of back and forth here again. Ooh, and a miss, and that's basically all you need. Now Blue can attack this ball as it's been thrown away and just convert this into all this pressure. That singular miss just causing a domino effect, allowing Blue pressure to stay on the side of the field for a long period of time.
Ball ticking down across that 5-second mark means now if this ball hits the ground, this is over. Twiz trying to maintain it in the air, get another goal for themselves, but it will go too far forward. Surge Blue walks away with game number 4 in their pocket. They are currently now at match point, and we can see here that things were pretty equal as far as shots, boost, and side control. It's just something was going wrong for the Wolves in that last game.
Yeah, a 4-1 game is realistically not on paper that close, but if I'm being honest, 2 of those goals scored against them, they were due to double commits from a couple different players in particular. And I think if you cut out those, then that game becomes a 2-1 game, right? And that's a lot more doable than a 4-1 game, obviously. But I think what you definitely have to think about is the midfield was better, but we got to make sure we're communicating with each other, both teams. We have to make sure we're communicating with each other. We can't allow these defensive breakdowns. We can't allow ourselves to be baited out on balls that we're never going to be able to get contact with.
Well, let's hope the Wolves clean up those double commits as we move into this next game. The Surge, if they win this one, walk away with the grand finals victory for themselves, as this is match point. We can hear everyone loading in. It does look like, yes, all of Surge Blue is in. We're missing one currently for the Wolves. Yes, now Kid is in as well. So everyone's in. We're going to go into this first kickoff. I'm really hoping to see nothing cheeky try to be pulled, but something was awkward in the Wolves' communication. Still managed to get a touch on the follow-up. Tove, though, finds the clear, brings it into the air. Quaddale off the back wall will grab it. It's in front of their own goal, though, so they need to get this cleared out of the way, lest there be an easy shot on goal again for Surge Blue. Clear still not being found for the Wolves just yet.
Yeah, and a mechanical mishap off the bat, kind of missing the kickoff, and it luckily rolled right to Axe. And Axe back on the Fennec now, so clearly he didn't like the adjustment either.
Almost God tries to take a shot on goal. We do see that Axe manages to get the save there. Ball still on the back third of the Wolves side of the field. It's Quaddale looking for a clear. Doesn't have any of their teammates quite in front of them, so instead they're going to choose to elevate over 2. There is no follow-up, but they don't need it. Yet again, finding a solo goal for themselves. I'm all for these solo plays here, but it's a little concerning that we don't see any of Quad's teammates there ready for the follow-up for a rebound shot if Quad were to miss.
Well, to some extent they should be there, and to some extent it kind of goes down to communication. If Quan's going to communicate early that, hey, I'm going for a solo play, sometimes it's safer to leave your 2 teammates back to respond to whatever happens next. It really comes down to what their game plan was when they crossed onto the enemy side of the field. You have to wonder what's going on in comms.
Shot on goal from Tove with the follow-up touch from Almost will tie up our score to 1 aside. 4 minutes, 1 second on the clock. Basically back to 0-0 territory. However, Wolves definitely are hungry to get more goals. This is match point for Surge Blue. They win this one and it's all over.
Yeah, that wasn't even a whiff. It's just a lack of intensity on the orange side of defense, as he kind of expected Almost God to not be there, but there was almost no reason for Almost God to not pressure the ball. He had teammates behind him. He had a reason to get on there and try to make something happen, even if it went badly.
Quaddale chips the ball to the side, managing to force Surge Blue to switch things up a little bit. They still are maintaining possession, though, in front of the Wolves' goal. Double commit does result in a clear as we see Twiz take out Kid. Quaddale getting thrown around a bit means they can't maintain possession and follow up on that clear. Almost God now in the corner as Quaddale gets taken out. Going for a shot on goal. It does get cleared by one of the Wolves members now as almost the midfield. Axe has possession, does pop it up, but Twiz reads it well, sending it to the other side of the field.
Yeah, we've seen a couple opportunities and a couple chances taken to bump Quandale as he tries to go for things. And I think that's a really good adjustment that Surge Blue has made to try to say, hey, we're not even going to let you start these solo plays anymore because you're dangerous.
I mean, he is the powerhouse player. Taking him out of play does work quite well, but I'm also seeing quite a few moments where Surge Blue's double committing on him to try and get him out of the play. And if Quad can recognize that and instead do the give and go to a teammate, it could make things that could end up quite explosive go more in their favor. We still have Quad with possession, finally deciding to rotate back as Almost God bringing the ball across the midfield. Quaddale does get in the passing lane to save it, but Tove takes it away in mid-flight.
Yeah, definitely seeing those double commits pop out. Not so much from the Wolves this time, so that is an impressive showing and change on them. But yeah, you do have to ask if they're going to change their strategy if things start to go badly again, or if they stay the same. Because they're kind of, you know, they're on last life. They have to make an adjustment. And if Quandale's not going to be allowed to do his solo plays, then you're going to have to allow the team to get involved.
We do have Quaddale rotating back as you see Twiz pulling forward with this ball. Rolls in front of the net at an awkward angle, and an awkward double commit between two of the blue players will result in a possession loss. Quad finds the touch to get it cleared to the midfield. As Tove and Twiz collide, Twiz maintaining possession. Ball drops down right in front of Quaddale, though. Quaddale will choose to take out Twiz in the process. Tove now having to play it around two members. Gets it around one. Can they play it around Quaddale? They might be able to. However, Quad gets in, does demo Tove to force possession to swap over and allow Kid to get a touch.
Yeah, a lot of double commits, and they're not lessening as the game goes on. Kind of have to feel like maybe Surge Blue is panicking. They just want out of this game, and oh, that might be the start in the right direction. Twiz making a great shot, great play in the midfield. And see, this is right what I was talking about to begin with. We baited out a defender that wasn't able to get a touch, and then just opened the net.
As we wind down past that 90-second mark, we are still within a one-goal territory for the Wolves to equalize this out. However, they cannot let Surge Blue run away with more goals. We have Axe take the possession away, but Almost God tries to maintain it. Axe now in front of the goal, gets the possession taken away by Tove. Passes it to Twiz. It's now in front of the Wolves' goal. It's spiked up high, sending it over towards the corner. Almost God takes a shot and rolls right in.
Yeah, and the momentum has completely swung now. It kind of feels like, when looking back, that might have been the theme of this series overall, is a lot of, you know, the first two goals being kind of slow, and then a lot of back and forth, and finally, once one team breaks through, it just all comes flooding down.
Still have time to equalize this up for the Wolves. They are there for the follow-up of the kickoff, but the return volley is from Tove. Quad gets in the passing lane, still has two in front of them though. They get it around one, but they can't find the second one. Ball now getting pushed to the side of the field. Kid trying to maintain possession for the Wolves. Unfortunately, Twiz though gets it away from them. Lots of colliding happening, but not clean possession for either side. Ball in front of the Surge Blue goal. Shot on goal too far to one side for even to be counted by the in-game controls. Quaddale now has possession, but still on the Wolves side of the field.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit cleaner now. It definitely seems like we've started to reset after those last couple goals, but ooh, Crab finds back of the net because no defender is pressuring him. No one on that shot to get in his way. He gets past Twiz, Almost God is backwards, can't get a play on the ball, and wow, just no one there. Tove in the middle of the net.
28 seconds. I think the Wolves can find goal number 3, but they need to make sure their rotations are clean and not forcing themselves into a situation where they're going to have to find 2 more. Tove is going to pop the ball up and play it around one, play it around another. Never mind. Now it's a 2-goal differential. 19 seconds on the clock. It's hard. It's not impossible, but you're going to have to play almost perfect, Wolves, if you want to close the score gap.
Yeah, just disaster now. You have to hope that those comms are still remaining intact and they're playing this 19 seconds with their heart out, because this is their last life now.
Unfortunately, it looks like a breakdown in communications off kickoff resulted in an almost goal for Tobe. Ball does get clear to the mid, but it's immediately volleyed right back. 10 seconds now as the clock ticks down. At this point, the Wolves need to get this ball in the air and keep it up in the air lest they lose out on their opportunity. But when there's 0 seconds left on the clock, there's nothing else you can do, and Surge Blue will walk away as the champions. Congratulations, Surge Blue, though a 4-1 game-winning differential here, it was not an easy fight, especially after Game 1 had concluded.
Yeah, definitely there were a lot of chances for it to go both ways, but at the end of the day, Surge Blue did play cleaner Rocket League and did have an impressive showing. Not to say that the Wolves didn't. They also had a lot of really high highs in those games and was really impressed with how they bounced back and used some different strategies to try to break down the enemy defense.
Considering how new the Wolves are, as well as their roster being relatively new within the last 2 weeks as well, they performed quite well, especially they made it all the way to the grand finals, so hopefully they recognize how much work it takes to even just get to that position. I mean, Doc always says that that's called silver medal syndrome, so you guys worked really hard and you deserve to celebrate your successes even all the way through to the end of that. You guys played very well, and congratulations Surge Blue on walking away with the championship title. We do still have one more best of 7 in the books though, so that'll be interesting to see how that one goes. I want to see it go the distance, all 7 games, because that just means everyone played their heart out 100% of the time. But before we do that, is there any words of advice you have for the Wolves as they walk away from that game?
Keep your heads up. I mean, Esports Tower is a big deal, but at the end of the day, we're all here to learn. We're all here to get better. And I feel like as long as they can pull 1 or 2 major things out of that series to take home and work on, that's a victory for them still.
All right. Well, yeah, honestly, if you didn't learn anything, that's the bad thing. If you can at least learn from your mistakes, then it's important. And of course, Esports Tower, they're going to have the opportunity to have VOD reviews and everything in that regard. So their coaches are going to have a lot to work with. Let's hope they're ready for it. However, before we jump into our next game, we are going to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere unless it's to go grab something to drink, maybe some water, and we'll be right back.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome to this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble. We're broadcasting from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Surge Blue just claimed the lower bracket grand finals. Now it's time for our upper bracket finals between the Eagles and the Barracudas. I'm still your host, Nerdy, and of course on the desk with me is Tacky. Okay, so we got our wish from last week, well, at least more like your wish, of more midfield play happening. As we move into our upper bracket grand finals, what are you hoping to see for this one?
Really clean Rocket League, hopefully. It's fun to always see a lot of goals scored in a game, but it's even more fun to see those goals very earned and very fought hard for, and a lot of intense moments. And then sometimes it just feels like we're just breaking down as a whole, and we're losing our defensive grip on the play, and it's just kind of, it's kind of hard sometimes to watch when we just can't do anything. We just have no one in the back post, and we have no response to midfield play.
So this is how things led up to what we're about to witness for the upper bracket. We had the Eagles take on the Vipers and the Barracudas take on the Flares. The Eagles ended up coming out on top of their game, as did the Barracudas, leading to the battle of land and sea, surf and turf happening. Let's see who comes out on top of the grand finals. But as Taki mentioned, he wants to see a little bit more earned goals, and something that is also important to keep in mind when it comes to earnings is what can happen when you're scouted from one of the Esports Tower events. And we are actually going to take a moment to congratulate all the Esports Tower members who have earned some scholarships lately through their time here with the Esports Tower Club. Over the last 3 months, the Esports Tower Club members have received $1.6 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard on their in-game play, but have worked academically and have earned these scholarship opportunities. The players that receive these scholarships are talented, hardworking, and driven, and we cannot be more excited and proud to see the opportunities that these players are getting. All right, so we have a tradition. Of course, you've read them. It's Doc's keys. But what are your keys before we jump into those?
I think, especially with Esports Towers, that my first key to the game is going to be to come into every game expecting to learn something. Even if it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to, try to find something you can pull out of it. And I think to go with that, clean Rocket League. We've all been training. We've all been working really hard to get here, and I think we should do our absolute best to play consistently and find a way to make sure that we're doing our very best all the time.
All right, so those are Joe's keys to the game, but Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League are create mistakes, punish the overcommit, play walls better, and demo in the goal. Doc's keys to the game are presented today by Esports Tower, where you can score pro advice and improve your game sense and improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure, and you'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. All right, this is it. This is going to be the long series. I already feel it's going to go full 7, at least I hope so. I even was saying this yesterday. I want everything to go all the way no matter what, because that means everyone played their hearts out. We're going to watch the Barracudas and the Eagles, our top two teams that have kind of always been the titans at the top of these bracket series and the group stages, battle it out for our grand finals here and see who walks away with the grand championship title. The Eagles dominated the matches in the Winter Rumble. Can they continue to fly high in the spring, or will the Barracudas drag them down to the bottom of the sea with them? We'll see how this shakes out in the next couple of games. All right, the first 50-50 went in favor of the Eagles. Wilds plays it off the wall, dunking it down, trying to get it to a teammate, but Jababy gets in the passing lane, sending it to a Drift, and popping it up for Nip, who's going to bring it to the side, and then a Drift comes in to follow up with another touch. Nano, though, gaining possession here. It's still on the back third of the Eagle side of the field. Unfortunately, drops the ball too quickly, allowing Jababy to come in, played off the back wall to Nift. The shot on goal is going to be turned away by Enzo, but still, it looks like the Barracudas have managed to maintain possession. A clear does come out, but at the cost of Enzo's life for the next couple of seconds, as the ball is already volleyed back to the Eagle side of the field.
Yeah, definitely a lot of really good defense so far. A couple double commits, but nothing that's been too detrimental yet. A lot of communication going on, too. A lot of good job kind of just playing around each other and finding ways to convert, I should say.
We have a Drift trying to get possession away from the Eagles. They can't quite play it around Enzo, though, as they chase after the ball up to the side of the other side of the field. Ball at the mid. Nano does not have a lot of pressure. Plays it around Jababy, passing it to Wild. Shot on goal from Wild, and connects to the back of the net.
Definitely a really hard shot there. Really well worked together. Have weird perspective. Oh, okay, there we go. A great pass from Nano into the midfield. Wild's taking an absolute zinger of a shot to the back of the net.
I was very impressed by the give and go strategy that the Eagles utilized there. There was a lot of great passing happening. Let's see if they'll be able to keep that up going forward and hopefully have it work out in their favor. We do have Nif bringing the ball down at the midfield. Pass back to Jababy after a weird ricochet from one of the Eagles players. The Drift tries to elevate but cannot maintain possession. Jababy takes out Nano though, opening a field for a little bit, but Wild's capitalizing on that demolition opportunity. Gets a pass to Enzo. Enzo's shot goes right in.
What an amazing conversion. I was just talking about earlier. Wilds with a great clear out of his end straight to Enzo, who takes a banger of a top shelf shot. Bar down, an impressive shot, impressive mechanical skill from both players. Great lineups.
Enzo actually has been really impressing the coaches with his continued improvement and is always striving to learn new mechanics and improve his current gameplay. And obviously, it's well-deserved as they are on one of our top teams here for Esports Tower, meshing well with Wilds, who's the only returning member from the original Eagles roster. They're currently up by 2. Let's see if they can maintain that lead or if the Barracudas start to close this gap.
Definitely a really good start for the Eagles here. And the Barracudas maybe a little bit on the back foot, but definitely have not been, not present. They have done a good job of finding ways to pressure the Eagles and force them to make really big saves. And they've done a really good job of converting to each other and giving each other passes that could or could not end up in the back of the net.
Ooh, we have a great volley to the back of the Barracuda side of the field. Enzo taking it on the side, has the opportunity to pass it to Wilds. Instead, Nano comes in to close it out, bringing the Eagles up to goal number 3. Barracuda still sitting at 0, but still plenty of time left on the clock for them to close that gap. And as I said earlier, sometimes the first game is not a true storytelling of what's going to happen for the remainder of the series here. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, no one in net for that one. Kind of wondering what happened there. It looks like Nif might have been bumped, but he wasn't going to get there anyway by the look of it. Definitely going to need a lot of offensive pressure that gets converted really easily from the Barracudas here because they're running out of time to score these 3 goals.
They do find a clear knowing that there was pressure on them. Jababy passes the ball to a Drift, but a demo in goal from Wilds on the Nif might open up an opportunity. Nano's shot does not go in. Jababy with possession now has very little pressure, a couple seconds to take a few touches, pops it up, but it goes to Nano, who's going to dunk it down on the side of the field. Nift comes in to try and follow up on the shot back, but that the post ends up saving that shot from going in, though, so Barracuda's rotating back to their side of the field again.
Yeah, seeing a little bit of a kind of decision had to be made in the corner there as all 3 of the Barracuda members were sitting in their right corner trying to figure out who's going to clear the ball, but definitely no collisions. They worked it out, and now they found a way out, only then to be thwarted, though, by the Eagles.
Nift finds a great clear. Drift manages to grab it before Nano can, but Enzo tries to get a touch on it for the Eagles, does, but cannot maintain possession. Wilds comes in to help them out. We see a Drift take out Enzo, so it's just a 2v3 for a couple seconds here, centered up the ball for one of their teammates. The Barracudas looking to get possession back here, but Enzo takes multiple touches with very little pressure on them. Wilds gets taken out by Jababy somewhere off screen. Nift comes in to push the ball forward across the midfield. Wilds off the respawn, though, stops that shot on goal from going in.
Almost incidentally, accidentally throws in a goal as well because he shot it up straight into Nif, who was looking for the dunk. Very close call, to say the least, but good defense, turned it around. Now the pressure is back on the Barracudas. And Caster Curse, there it is, as it's converted all the way across the field and past the blue defender.
We are now crossing down into the less than 50 seconds moment, but Nif finds goal number 1 for the Barracudas, showing that they have signs of life. Let's see if they can get 2 more. There's still plenty of time left for them to do so. And congratulations to Nif on making sure that they are not giving up. Nif actually, according to the coaches, has some fantastic mental stamina and does a great job to not tilt. Hopefully they're spreading the good vibes to their teammates to keep their heads up for the next 52 seconds to try and even out this scoreboard. Shot on goal is going to get turned away, though, very quickly. Enzo at the midfield brings it across off the back wall. There is no follow-up touch from their teammates, though.
Yeah, definitely seeing the steel-headedness from Nif this game, seeing him really keep his head in the game and find the back of the net is really going to be a big momentum shift for his team later on down the line, even if it means that they still can't win this game.
It's still a best-of-7 series, though. 25 seconds seems a little difficult to score 2 goals, at least with how gifted both these teams are and their skill levels. We do see Enzo trying to score another goal for the Eagles. They find it, so 4-1. That's okay. 17 seconds still left on the clock. I want to see the Barracudas score 1 more just for a little bit of a morale boost, but if they don't, that's okay. They could adjust and make the necessary changes in game number 2.
Yeah, definitely a lot of Rocket League still to play. I'm really looking forward to what both of these teams can bring out next game. Definitely the Eagles have a little bit less to worry about, as they just need to keep playing their game, but always you can be looking forward to the next best strategy and the next best kind of play style to focus on.
We're at the 5-second mark now. Does look like the Barracudas are not going to be able to find another goal, but they might be able to stop one from the Eagles as Nano's shot unfortunately ricochets off the crossbar. Eagles walk away with goal number 1. And we can see here that from the Barracudas' perspective, they were pretty even on most things, but the shots on goal were just not there.
Yeah, honestly, this game should have been a 5-1. It looked like Nano was maybe trying to sneakily steal a goal from his teammate there and accidentally bounced it out. But, you know, regardless of that, you really do have to say, okay, this game, it happened. It's over. Nothing we can do about it for both teams. And now we got to reset and play this game just like it was the first one. Have to make sure that we're still focusing up, getting our comms together, and taking the positive energy that NIF or Wilds or any of the other teammates have and running with it really hard, because that's the only thing that's going to be able to keep you from throwing a lead or out of a lead.
All right, so maintain the positive vibes is the advice coming from the desk. You guys still have possibly 6 more games to go, so make sure you are not tilting. And we will see who comes out on top in the next 5 minutes. Of course, I want to see it equalize and have it be the Barracudas, so we just keep going further and further through this series. But ultimately, the teams are the ones who get to decide that.
Well, no matter what happens, it'll still be impressive Rocket League from both teams. Oh.
Ooh, Jababy with the assist from Nif finds goal number 1. I think that only took 3 seconds. This is beautiful.
Yeah, this definitely seems like an Esports Tower trademark thing with their teams. Is the first 30 seconds is when we're going to score all the goals. But definitely an impressive display from the Barracudas, and you kind of have to hand it to them. Like, that's a great way to start off with positive momentum. Find a way to keep that with you for the rest of the game and put the pressure on the Eagles to continue to perform past the last game.
And it does look like Adrift is having some difficulties staying connected, but Esports Tower rules do mean that once the first goal is scored, we continue. It does look like they've reconnected, so we're okay in that front. Ball is on the back third of the Barracuda side of the field. Adrift finds a slight clear, but it does not cross the midfield area. It's already in front of the Barracuda's goal yet again. Ball at the mid. Jababy has an opportunity, but takes too long to grab that ball. Enzo gets a touch. It ricochets and ping-pongs between a few players, and now it's on the corner trying to be corralled by Wilds.
Yeah, oh, good teamwork there from Wilds, popping it up so that Enzo can come and get the touch. And usually that'd be kind of a weird touch. It's hard to play around because he's rotating back and he's going to push in and take a 50 on that ball. But because they were communicating, Enzo was able to play off of it and maybe find a shot.
I'm happy that we're not seeing a whole lot of double commits coming out from these two teams. It seems like their comms are open and they have trust in one another to do their designated jobs. Of course, I could cast or curse this completely and we'll see nothing but double commits from here on out, but I hope we don't. Ball is spiked up in the corner on the Barracuda side of the field. Enzo trying to get another touch on it, can't find it. Jababy plays it around Wilds, passing it to Adrift. Defender is out of the way, but Enzo comes in at the last second to save that shot on goal. Adrift goes for another shot. There's no one in front of them, and it goes right in.
Yeah, it felt like Eagles might have expected a different play here out of Adrift and not the turnaround, because Enzo flipped forward, committing to not hitting the ball, but maybe getting a better touch later on. But it just meant that Adrift had an open net to take because he cut him off early.
Barracudas are in the lead by 2 right now. Not something we saw early on in game 1. Let's see if the Eagles start returning the favors. Wilds drags the ball down. It drops right onto Nif's hood. They pop it up around Nano, but Enzo was there to back up Nano. Now in the air, Jababy plays it around. Has the follow-up touch from Adrift. Adrift finds goal number 3 for the Barracudas.
Yeah, this is a definite momentum shift. A completely different game than we saw last time. And you got to wonder, what adjustment did the Eagles decide to make that are putting the Barracudas so far back? Or excuse me, the Barracudas.
Does look like Nif went for that 50-50, but Nano got the better touch. Wilds is going to take Nif out. Shot on goal from Enzo. Unfortunately, they did collide with one of the Barracudas, so they couldn't quite connect with that ball. Adrift now looking to pop it to a teammate. Wilds elevates, though, dunking it down. Sees Nano. Nano still manages to get a touch on it, despite Jababy getting it first. Drops it down off the ceiling to themselves, but took too many touches, so Adrift's able to steal it away. Now right in front of the goal, no one's there, and they find a hat trick for themselves.
Yeah, that's a defensive breakdown to say the least. I'm not really sure what happened here, but maybe Enzo didn't have boost. Oh, he drove away from the ball for a second. Maybe he thought that it was going to bounce off the crossbar. Oh, and a little bit of heat going on in the chat there, but still lots of gameplay left to do. There's only 3 minutes left.
Enzo pops the ball up, does see Drift in front of them. It decides to drop it down. Wilds was there, but unfortunately the angle is just not quite right. Nano now grabbing it in the corner, looking to center it up to Wilds. Wilds has a shot on goal, but weird double commit. Jababy does find the save and is bringing it up the mid. That Enzo stops it immediately, dropping it down in front of the goal. Has the secondary touch, but it is going to be turned away by one of the Barracuda's members.
Yeah, and we're back to this midfield back and forth, but if I'm being honest, if I'm in the Eagles' shoes right now, I don't have time for that. I have to get these goals rolling now, otherwise I have to commit to the loss to this one and try to reset for the next game. But at this point, there's so much Rocket League left to play in this game still that I'm not ready to give up.
Let's hope these players aren't either, as we have Wilds and Nano trying to get possession. There's a double commit onto Nano, allows Wilds to get possession, bringing it across the midfield, sees Wilds there. Let's see if they'll find the connecting pass. They will not, because Jababy gets in that passing lane. Enzo sends it to Nano. It's on the back third of the Eagles side of the field. Nano plays it around to Drift. Can they find another touch? They will not, because Jababy's going to send it into the corner where Wilds is waiting.
Ooh. Yeah, another open net. Some breakdowns for sure here. Wilds just did not get that good of a touch. He passed it mid with no defender there. And I don't know, there's nothing else for Nif to do but find the back of the net and no extra play to make.
We do a little trolling according to Enzo. All right, well, if you're trolling a little bit in game number 2, let's hope you don't do it in game number 3, because it does look like, as we've got 90 seconds left on the clock, Barracuda is most likely going to walk away with game number 2 victory for themselves, evening up our score differential as far as the game victories go. Nano pushing forward now with possession, sends it to Nift, unfortunately for the other side. So Nift now has possession, plays it around 1. Let's see if they have a teammate. They do not, because Enzo is pushing them away. Drift finally gets in to help them out.
Yeah, and honestly, you don't usually get a chance to look at chat with these games, but I'd love to see the great pass on himself from Wild, and we do a little trolling, because it shows me, even though the Eagles are down right now, they've got that positive mentality still. They're still poking fun. They're having fun, and they're doing a good job of saying, hey, we're going to be all right. This is one game, and we're going to reset here and make some stuff happen next game.
Yeah, and it's important to remember to, like, anyone that's watching that, yes, the Eagles and their Barracudas are kind of our notorious 2 champions consistently and are gunning for the title from one another. But at the end of the day, this is all one giant club, and they're all one big, long-distance family, and they want the best for each other, which means sportsmanship is always the kind of cream of the crop between these teams.
Yeah, definitely seen some very, very positive mentalities from all these teams today, and I think every team has done a good job of trying to make an adjustment. As we say that, of course. But.
Thanks, Adrift. Drift does get a great job of popping the ball in front of the goal. They are up at 6 right now. I don't think anyone can really score that many goals in a short amount of time. It looks like we had an unfortunate disconnect from Nano there. Seems like there was quite a few connection issues during this match, but it will not be treated as a mulligan. But there is still plenty of games to play after this. It'll just bring us to tied 1 aside and turn it into a best of 5 after this round has concluded, as the Barracudas are going to walk away with this one. Hopefully the Eagles can find 1 goal for themselves, but 5 seconds as it's on the back third of the Eagles side of the field. Don't foresee that happening unless Enzo elevates, and it will not. So Barracudas walk away with game number 2 for themselves.
Yeah, that was, I mean, 60-40 does not seem like that big of a differential, but 60-40 of side control is a lot of side control in favor of the Eagles, which is interesting to think about, because what that tells me, if you're scoring the least amount of goals, even 0 goals, and having the most side control, you're probably having a lot of issues making plays happen, whether that be in the form of passing and those give and goes that are greatly suggested over and over again, or in those solo plays. And that's something you got to think about is, okay, what are we doing that's not working, and what do we need to do to make sure those things do happen?
Well, let's hope they're taking this little break to discuss that amongst themselves. And during that time, I would like to talk to everyone that's watching about some opportunities the Esports Tower gives the players here. They get the opportunity to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers. And if you want this chance, then you should join the club, because Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles, and recruiters are taking notice of these events as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. All right, so as I mentioned, that's game number 2 out of a best of 7 series in the books, and we are now at a best of 5. So let's see, are we going to see a complete blowout and one team win 3 in a row, or is it going to be really back and forth? Do you have any predictions?
Oh man, it's really hard to say. I mean, I can't say that the vibes were off enough that I can't put the Eagles out of it yet, obviously. I mean, they had a lot of side control. If they could convert that into goals, obviously that would have been their game. But I think, honestly, it's really hard to call. Right now, I'd have to say that the Eagles still probably have a chance at this. Even though that last game went bad, their first game was great, and their mentality was still fantastic through that last game. I could definitely see them turning it around and putting the pressure right back on the Barracudas.
All right, well, then that means I'm going to vote for the Barracudas. We'll have to see how this shakes out, though. As I mentioned, we are now basically at a best of 5. Let's hope the stamina is in the favor of all these players and their mental's not too tilted and everyone has reset for this one. But Adrift looks like they did something because they managed to score a goal almost immediately off that kickoff with some help from Nilf. Enzo tried to elevate but couldn't get there fast enough nor high enough, and ball just found its way between two members and into the back of the net.
Yeah, and just mechanical misplay has led to an easy goal for Adrift, and Adrift, it seems to be determined so far to make me eat my words.
Well, we've got Wilds who's trying to make sure that your dream comes true, but Jababy gets in there, takes the ball away after a few too many touches. Back pass to Nano is going to find a clear for the Eagles. Well, for the Eagles, as Nano brings it across to the backboard of the Barracuda side of the field, but there wasn't a follow-up from their teammates, so the rotations were just not quite there. Enzo finds another volley, but at the midfield, Nif collides with them. Jababy tries to get a touch on it, but there's two players from each side colliding at the midfield. Ball now in front of the Barracuda's goal.
And it looks like, once again, Nano, well, not for Nano specifically, but once again, it seems like we've seen a car change in the middle of a series. And, you know, even if you might feel better in that car, I'm still never going to suggest switching cars in the middle of a series. It completely changes the vibe. But we'll have to see if things turn around for the Eagles. They're starting off on maybe the wrong foot, but it's definitely not the foot that they can't get off of.
I'll be honest with you, Tacky, the car changes are pretty frequent here. They happen quite a bit. We'll see what that does to the mojo on the field, though. Baby goes for a shot on goal, and Wilds can't get in there fast enough. Goal number 2 for the Barracudas.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a good conversion downfield. Not a lot of time spent on the blue ends because they didn't need it. They had possession, they found the back of the net. What else is there to do on that end?
50-50, Adrift pushes it a little bit further, but their teammates aren't there. Enzo gets a touch on it, plays it around once, but Wild goes for the back pass, and it looks like, yes, it's going to be an own goal, but it'll be credited to Nift.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't know what else there's to say here. Well, let's hope that they bounce back now because they're running out of time to fix these kind of mistakes.
Next 50-50, Enzo gets the better touch on it. Nift follows up that touch, though, sending it to Adrift. Adrift drags it down to the back wall. Nift comes in to help them out, trying to center it up for one of their teammates. Jababy grabs it, dunks it down, but their teammates have already rotated back, so the reset's coming out. Nano with possession now in the air. Adrift takes it away because the ball got pushed too far forward. Nift volleying it over to Jababy. Has the opportunity to center it up to Adrift. Will they do it? They will not. Too many touches allows Enzo to get in that passing lane and snipe that ball away.
Yeah, here's the pressure. Going for that one shot, one pass, one shot to Enzo once again. It almost worked. But again, open net. What even happened here? What's going on?
Let's take a look at this replay. The ball goes to the corner at the mid. Over rotation from the defenders.
Yep.
And no call out as to who needed to be in the back by that back post. Unfortunately, will bring the Barracudas up to 4, and there's still 3 minutes and 3 seconds left on the clock. So the Eagles can start turning this around, but their communication channels need to start opening up.
Yeah, we're kind of racked to the same spot that we were at before. A tremendous lead from the Barracudas right at 3 minutes. And, you know, these first 2 minutes seem to be the hardest for the Eagles, as after those first 2, they seem to lock it down slightly more. But they got to get hold of this game much earlier on, because having to climb this hill every single match is not going to be the way to win a grand finals.
And it's very mentally taxing and having to put that much energy to, like, kind of mid-load a game, because it can just take away all the power you have going forward. They're now at a 3-goal differential. There's plenty of time left on the clock, but they need to clean up and not allow the Barracudas to start walking away further with this goal differential. Adrift does a great job playing it around 1. They have to have Baby follow them up, centered it up to Nift, but Enzo elevated higher, gets a touch on it. Adrift at the midfield, stops the volley from completely crossing that stripe. Passes it to Jababy, who dunks it back to Adrift, playing it into the corner, back to Jababy. Lots of back and forth happening here. Nano, though, cherry-picking a little bit, finds an opportunity to send it to Wilds, and that's goal number 2 for the Eagles.
Yeah, in a matter of, 40 seconds since that 2-minute marker went down, the Eagles have already begun to turn it around, and maybe a little bit of double commit, but no matter who hits that ball that's going in, there's no defender that can make a decent save there, so not the end of the world at all.
Into the next 50-50, we have Nift win it out, but Enzo somehow manages to carry it in mid-flight a little bit. Adrift Lemming spikes it up. Nano there for the side of the Eagles. Tries to beat Jababy to the ball, but Jababy sends it to the back third of the Eagles side of the field. Enzo now carrying it across. Sees Nano. Nano pops it up. Can they play it around him? They will. The elevation's just not high enough. And that's another goal for the Eagles.
Yeah, that was an impressive redirect from Nano. The placement was a little bit tough, but Nif was nowhere near ready for it. That gave me, I'm gonna be honest, that gave me some big Cosmo Buster vibes right there. That cherry pick was massive.
I love cherry picking in Rocket League. I know it's not technically a good thing to do in soccer, but here it works out quite well for players. They just got to make sure that they are identifying themselves as the cherry picker to their teammates so they know that they're basically going to have someone way up the field. But Enzo carries it around multiple members of the Barracudas, and we are now tied at 4-side.
I'd like to point out that when the clock said 3 minutes, they were down by 4 goals. We have gone almost the exact same amount of time. We've gone 1 minute in this game, and they have scored 4 goals. A complete momentum shift from the Eagles. This is exactly what I was expecting out of them, but maybe not to have to climb that hill in the first 3 minutes. Oh.
Well, Adrift will take away that equalizer and find goal number 5. However, now Barracuda's looking for a security goal to bring them up by 2 and need to maintain that lead for quite some time because, yes, they have a 1-goal lead right now, but we're just under 2 minutes left on the clock, and somehow the Eagles scored 4 in 1 minute, and as did the Barracudas. Nano off the kickoff gets a great shot on goal. Adrift, though, read it well, sends it back to the mid where Enzo's waiting. Awkward double commit from the Eagles does allow the ball to still maintain possession here on the Barracuda side of the field, and Nano finds another goal for the Eagles.
Yeah, it just, neither team is ready to give up on this game yet, and I kind of expected game 3 of 2, you know, last 2 games were very much blowouts. This one's a lot closer, even if there's a lot of goals scored. It's really impressive to see both these teams taking their aggression to the next level, even if it's off of mistakes exclusively.
Well, we're basically at 0-0 with 94 seconds left on the clock. Both teams looking for 2 goals apiece so they can be in a position where they can sit pretty for a couple extra moments and take a breather. But right now, lots of midfield play happening. Wild's in the corner. Unfortunately, sends the ball directly to Adrift. Jababy, though, dragging the ball to the goal in front of their Eagle side of the field. Enzo saves it. Shot off the back wall. Wilds directs it to Enzo, who pops it up to Nano. Jababy tries to dunk it down to one of their teammates. They manage to find that connection, and now Eagles rotating back towards their own goal.
Yeah, almost another spectacular passing play combined with a cherry pick upfield from Team Eagles. And I really like watching how creative they go with the ball, but I gotta hand it to the Barracudas have put on just as much pressure, and you'd argue that they make more concise and more efficient goals than the Eagles at times.
We'll see who holds out the most for the next 40 seconds. If there's a goal scored, we will not see overtime. However, we might see one. These teams are doing a fantastic job of just maintaining control and not letting one goal squeak by. There was one shot there saved by Jababy from Wild. There's a follow-up shot, touch from Enzo, but that 4th man, the crossbar, saves it. Now we're at 19 seconds left on the clock, and we have Wilds going for another shot, but it's going to be just completely wide of the goal. Follow-up from Enzo will not be found. Barracuda's looking to find the clear as the clock ticks down to that 5-second mark.
Yeah, and you know, it's games that are this close with this much of a story going on. It really gets your blood rushing. It gets you excited to see how is this going to end. And man, the pressure is just on for both teams now. Whoever gets this takes the lead in the first 3 games of the series.
All right, let's see if we're going to have a quick overtime with an easy goal, if it's going to drag on all the way to like the 5 or 6 minute mark like we've seen in the past. These teams are so equally matched, it could go either way. But Jababy might be able to score one here. They will not, because Wilds is going to save that shot. Ball still on the side of the Eagles, though. Pass between Nano and Enzo. Well, sorry, Enzo and Wilds will find the clear, though.
Yeah, definitely an impressive level of skill from both teams, and it's so fun to see both teams evenly matched and showing off just what they can do with the skills that they've learned at Esports Tower.
We have now crossed that 30-second threshold, and no goal has been scored. Quite a lot of back and forth happening. Ball gets dunked down to Wilds at the midfield. Adrift chasing after it, trying to grab it off the ceiling, but that awkward ceiling dunk does open it up for Jababy to get a shot on goal, but it's too high. They're going to push Enzo and demo them in the process. Nano with possession, though, getting pushed around by a drift, has an opportunity to center it up, will lose out possession to Baby though. Wild's trying to maintain the side control for the Eagles, and with a follow-up from Enzo in overtime, the Eagles will find goal number 6 and walk away with the victory of this game.
Great give and go off the wall by Wilds there, straight to Enzo, who's a fantastic shot to that upper left corner. So hard to save those. Really impressive showing. A really nice overtime for both teams.
And as we look at the statistics we have here, total shots were in favor of the Eagles, but yeah, 65 to 30 differential seems quite tough. However, with the score being so equal, it just means one was a little bit more precise while the other one was a little bit more accurate. I'm not going to remember those definitions from chemistry and science from high school, so good luck figuring that out. But that overall, that was pretty equal, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty equal showing. I think the momentum kind of swung, and I think it was kind of equal in the sense that they weren't necessarily battling out goal for goal the entire game, but it was equal in terms of the pressure switch that happened in that, right exactly at that 3-minute marker, that pressure switch that put them all the way to even field after those first 4 goals being scored. That was really impressive, and I'd like to see maybe some cleaner gameplay from both teams just to eliminate those mistakes that are allowing for those kinds of leads to happen to begin with.
Well, let's see if it happens again or if they've had enough time to make adjustments. Ball is on the back third of the Barracuda side of the field, and Enzo finds goal number 1 for the Eagles.
A fantastic shot by Enzo and a great way to start it, especially after last game they ended so far behind, but great placement, finds the top area of the net. Really hard to save those. I mean, I keep having to say that, but these players are making just fantastic shots over and over again.
And just a quick reminder to those of you that are watching, if the Eagles win this one, they bring themselves to match point. Barracudas are looking to even out the playing field as they've only won 1 of the matches thus far. This is game 4 right now. Eagles currently up by 1. Jababy gets a shot on goal, but it's too high. Nano snags it, dunking it down to Enzo, but before the ball connects with them, Nif comes in, passing the ball to Jababy, who centers it to a drift, but there was just not the right angle. The ball does get cleared to the mid.
Yeah, definitely. You can see Barracuda is trying to find each other at the midfield, making some passes across, just doing the best they can to keep pressure of the ball and wait for an opportunity to find the back of the net. But now I've seen 2 whiffs of good shots that could have happened for Barracudas. It could have found the back of the net, and they're kind of floundering on offense. That conciseness that I talked about in the first game just doesn't seem to be there.
Ooh, it took all 3 members in the goal from the Eagles, but they find another goal for themselves. Yeah, this was just kind of, I don't know what happened here. We do see Wilds pushing Nip out of the way. Jababy tries to come in to help out, but ultimately it wasn't quite in the favor of the Barracudas. Just down by 2, a little less than 4 minutes on the clock. Plenty of time for the Barracudas to bring this one back. We have the 50-50 go in favor of the Barracudas, and there's a follow-up from a drift who's going to center it to Jababy. Shot on goal. Go's going to go past Wilds, but will not make it past Enzo. Another shot on goal, turned away yet again by Nano. Now ball almost hitting that midfield stripe, has Enzo collide with a drift Lemming. Now Nano looking for the clear, sees Enzo. Enzo redirects towards the goal, but the crossbar saves it from going in. The pass back to Wilds, another shot's going to get saved by a drift Lemming.
Yeah, and I think the breakdown is just kind of happening in midfield right now for the Barracudas. They're getting it across the net, but there's either no one there or just no one hitting the ball when it comes across. And right here, this is where a goal needs scored. But again, a 3rd whiff on an easy pass mid. We have to be ready for those, otherwise you're never going to be able to find the back of the net. Your team is setting you up. Now let's do something with the ball.
I know for a fact that all 3 members for the Barracudas have the opportunity. It just seems like something's shaking their nerves up a little bit. Hopefully they are managing to clear that up and calm themselves down and clear their heads, because they got to bring this one back. As we mentioned earlier, we've got Tacky voting for the Blue Eagles. I got to root for the Barracudas to even out the playing field a bit. So let's hope they even this up. We're crossing the halfway point of this series right now. Drift manages to play it around Enzo. Enzo's forced to rotate back to the back post. Wilds, though, and a double commit from Enzo might allow them to get a shot on goal. They will, but Nano's going to turn it away.
Yeah, definitely still impressive gameplay from both teams, but I'm kind of wondering now if maybe that overtime kind of shook them up a little bit. Maybe the nerves are kind of showing up, and they just have to reset. They're taking this game to reset, but optimally, you'd like to reset even before then, because then you get games like this.
Having 1 minute between games does make it a little bit difficult. I'm sure you can speak to that as a Rocket League player yourself, having been in the competitive sphere for quite a long time. It's hard sometimes, and sometimes you just can't do it.
No, absolutely, and I totally relate even to teams that do break down because of the nerfs. It's a normal thing, and it's something that honestly is a skill to be worked on. But even if that isn't the case, and even if it is, honestly, either way, it'll be something that they can definitely look forward to adjust and maybe fix for the next game, because even if they lose this next game, they still have a chance.
Yes, they will. They just have to close out these next 4 minutes and 38 seconds. That's time to score a couple goals for themselves, the Barracudas. They are on the back third of the Eagles side of the field. Adrift is doing some great disruption onto Wilds, but Wilds finally gets in and squeaks by with the clear. Shot goes right in front of the goal, cleared away by Jababy. Enzo gets thrown around, dunking the ball to Wilds. The give to Nano is dunked back down to Wilds. Fortunately, Wilds had already pushed forward, so it was a slight breakdown in communication. Nif trying to maintain possession and corral the ball here in the corner to allow Drift to bring it up to the midfield, but unfortunately Enzo gets in that passing lane, taking the ball away.
Yeah, back pass from Jababy there. Not a great one, though, because if you back pass in the air, it kind of only gives your teammate the option of hitting it in the air as well, and therefore throwing away possession. And honestly, maybe it's a symptom of just panic at this point, as they've only got a minute left to try to make something of this game. And that's more than enough time, but not if you're panicking and not if you're not working together as a team with a calm and steel cold mentality.
As we are now at the 40-second mark, Eagles up by 2. Barracuda still looking to find at least 1 goal for themselves. It's okay if they can't, but it'll be a morality boost they need. Jababy will be the one to answer that call, finding goal number 1. Still enough time for them to get another one. However, the rotations and passes off this next kickoff need to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it. I mean, trademark of Esports Tower is scoring goals in short amount of time right off the kickoff. But definitely the shift that Barracudas need to either take that momentum into the next game if this time expires, or just the little bit of momentum they need to find the next back of the net and force an overtime where they inevitably are going to meet the Eagles once more.
Enzo trying to carry the ball into the net. It is going to be saved by Nif. Now Adrift has it, plays it around 1, passes it to Jababy. All 3 members of the Barracudas are pushed awfully far forward as the clock is ticking down to the 5-second mark. Nif trying to maintain side and ball control. Adrift at the midfield. Ball in the air with Enzo. It does look like this round's going to close out with the Eagles putting themselves at match point. The ball is right in front of the Barracudas' goal. Yes, a buzzer beater will get Enzo their hat trick and close out that game.
Yeah, I mean, I got to hand it to the Eagles. They played some really clean Rocket League. I didn't really have a lot of complaints even from the goal that was scored on them. I mean, there's always stuff to work on. But they played really clean Rocket League, and I'm kind of just wondering what is going to go on with the Barracudas now. I mean, we've seen the potential they have. We know that they've got it in them. I hope they know they've got it in them because they are impressive players. And I got to hope that this next game they come out right back where they were in game 2.
I hope so as well. They're all very gifted players. Something is missing. I don't know what needs to be done. Maybe they need to get some water real fast in the 1 minute that they have, but their coach is probably trying to keep their mental capacity up and as well as in a positive space because, as you mentioned, staying positive is one of the biggest things. They can start the reverse sweep right now. It just won't be very easy.
No, it's never easy. It's always super stressful. But, you know, I have full faith in their coach, and I have full faith in these players, and I bet anything that they come out looking like just as strong as they were in Game 2 and ready to play some really fantastic Rocket League. I'm super excited to see what they have in store for us, and I'm really excited to see how the Eagles are going to respond to possibly a giant momentum shift here.
One thing that I can say is I know for a fact that the Barracudas all of the players are very gifted in terms of their aerial control and play, and possibly facilitating that a little bit more might be the key factor here. We'll see if they end up doing that as we have Adrift spiking the ball up in front of the goal. Double commit there from the Eagles. Might open it up for Nip. It will. But then it hits the crossbar. The tertiary touch from Jababy will go in. Barracudas find their first goal in 12 seconds.
Definitely impressive start. This is what they were looking for exactly. Great pressure from Nif. I think it was super wise to not shoot it yet and put it on the backboard. It forces the defenders to be kind of in an awkward spot. They don't know where the shot is coming from. And I think we're definitely looking at a brand new Barracudas now. They're coming out firing. They're ready to take back this game.
That's what I want to see. Genuinely just full 7-game series right now. Eagles are currently at match point. The pressure is mounting for the Barracudas. Let's hope they're not feeling it, though, and just play clean. We see a demo on Nif happen. Nano now with possession, bringing it up. We'll have it taken away by Adrift. Adrift's going to play it off the wall, dunking it down to a teammate, but an unfortunate just slight pinball action between the two of them will redirect the ball. Jababy now rotating back, rallying this ball in the corner, bringing it up to the ceiling. Will be disrupted by Enzo in mid-flight. Adrift pops it over Nano, sending it to the back of the Eagle side of the field. It will be redirected, though, back to the mid.
Yeah, I think I see a lot more out of the Barracudas working together to find the back of the net, which is a nice change. Not so much panic, just working together, talking about what they're doing. It's a good way to make the enemy defense kind of have to second-guess themselves constantly. But we are still seeing the Eagles put on just as much pressure, maybe in different forms.
Ball is spending quite a bit of time at the midfield as opposed to the back sides of the field, which is what I'm enjoying seeing at least. Hoping to get a little bit more passing action happening between some of the Barracudas members. We have Nano going in for a shot right now, playing it off the back wall. Drift will grab it. They have Nick in front of them. They choose to pop it up. They do see Jababy, but too many touches allows Wilds to get in there and take that ball away, sending it to Nano immediately, and Nano finds a goal for the Eagles. We are now tied 1 aside.
Honestly, this is the Eagles' trademark play at this point. It's a pass upfield to a cherry picker. They seem really good at this. It seems like this is what they're comfortable with. This is what they like to do.
The other thing that the Eagles are doing quite well is recognizing when they do and do not have pressure, and realizing if they have pressure, the give and the go is what they need to do. You can't take too many touches, whereas the Barracudas, even when they're in aerial play with the ball, will take 2 and 3 touches as opposed to passing the ball off to a teammate when they see someone coming after them.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big deal because, you know, I don't know the ranks for all these players, but I think that's one of the biggest descriptors between players that are going to rank up all the way to that SSL title is players that can recognize, hey, I don't need to go for the dribble here. If I go for the pass, it puts on just as much, if not more pressure, and vice versa.
We do have a slight double commit for the Eagles players there, but Enzo still walks away with maintaining possession off the back wall. Enzo tries to get a touch, but can't quite find it. A drift is going to push it to the side. Wilds is waiting for it. Nift will send the volley to the back of the Eagles side of the field, where Enzo's waiting, though, for it. Shot on goal will squeak by the members of the Eagles team, and Barracudas find goal number 2 for themselves.
Yeah, Jababy doing a really good job here. I thought there might be a 50 because Enzo was pretty close to the play, but Jababy did a really good job of just making sure he put it just in that little area away from the defender and into the back of the net.
We're almost at the halfway mark of this game. Eagles only down by 1. Let's see how the Barracudas maintain their momentum here and their mental stamina, as well as good vibes happening. They're doing a great job so far. We see a lot more passing, a great give and go there from Drift to Jababy. Unfortunately, the pass back didn't happen fast enough to a Drift, so they did lose possession. Ball gets popped up high into the corner. Looks like Nift is going to try to be the saving grace for the Barracudas. Ball gets centered to Wilds, though, and unfortunate weird rotation from the Barracudas forces people back to the goal quickly as Nano gets taken out by Jababy, opening up an opportunity for a clear. Wilds will also be taken out by Jababy. Shot on goal from a Drift. Might hit the crossbar, but the Drift's there for their own follow-up.
Yeah, that was, you know, a conglomerate of a lot of things going wrong, but a demo to start and Nano whiffing the ball, just no one there anymore. And Enzo was probably using that time to get loose. He probably didn't expect both of his defenders to get kind of, dare I say, balled, but it just happens sometimes.
Next 50-50, Wilds gets the better touch and centers it directly to Nano at the mid. That was a perfectly read opportunity from Nano. Unfortunately, the follow-up just wasn't quite there. Wilds now forced back on the wall with the ball, has to play it around 2, can't quite find it. Nano goes to help them out. Enzo pushes it forward to Nano. Nano pops it up right in front of the goal. The tertiary touch from Enzo will find goal number 2 for the Eagles.
That was a seriously impressive play from Nano here to go off the backboard like that and stop it in front of the net by using his backflip off of the
that was pretty.
Ball. That was crazy. Some crazy creative plays. And I think that's what I've continued to highlight with this Eagles team is how creative they get with their goals, whether it's between cherry picking, the give and go, or stuff like that. It's just super impressive to see them put some personality into their gameplay.
Being able to adapt and change things up is something that's very important in any esport, honestly, and so the fact that they're pulling out all the stops right now shows that they're trying their hardest, but they still have to close a 1-goal gap right now, and the Barracudas are looking to get an extra so that they have that security goal for themselves. Adrift Lemming now in the corner, tries to play it around Wilds, can't, and the dunk down to their teammate will be lost as Wilds gets the ball at the midfield. Jababy, though, grabs it. Now in front of the Eagles net, looks for a teammate, but unfortunately neither of them were pushed forward enough to be the connecting pass for them.
Yeah, some impressive play here still, and this is still a very close game. 1 minute is plenty of time to score 1 goal. You don't even only need 1 second. You could hold it in the air that last bit, so we're looking at a tight game once more, and I'm really impressed by the change the Barracudas make to come back swinging in this game, holding their own and ready to turn this series into their own.
Let's see if they can manage to do that right now. They still have that 1-goal lead, but the ball is on their back third, and Nano's looking to close the 1-goal gap. Wilds with possession has a drift coming after them. A drift plays it away from Nano. Well, from Wilds, has the opportunity to center it up to a teammate, but the crossbar is not their friend. They're going to have Jababy comes in to help them out. Enzo now with possession. At the midfield, it's popped high. Wilds tries to snag it, will grab it off the wall. They have an opportunity to give it to a teammate. Will they? Instead, the demo in the goal might find an opening for goal number 3. It will be cleared instead. 5 seconds on the clock. Eagles looking for one extra goal. Will they do it, or will the Barracudas find another? Oh, they almost do, but Enzo saves it.
Yeah, and they put it down. Well played from the Barracudas. That's exactly what I expected out of them. Really impressive change of pace for them. And you see, again, they don't have the most side control, which is really interesting to see. They have a really good conversion ratio of getting onto the enemy side and then finding the back of the net by doing that. And it's not to say that the Eagles don't have that necessarily. It does show that the Eagles do have a lot more pressure, but also it does show that maybe the Eagles need to work on, doing a little bit more beyond cherry picking. I mean, it's not always going to be the best time to do cherry picks or those backboard touches that are going to give them these opportune goals. Sometimes you just need to maybe go for a demo or go for those classic give-and-go plays that are so key to the Rocket League rotation zeitgeist.
Well, so thus far, I feel like we've seen a different story told in every single one of these games. That game was definitely a lower score than we expected to see considering the previous one. But I feel like now we're at the point where these teams have been in this round long enough to recognize each other's strengths and weaknesses. For the Eagles, that's a lot of give and go and passing. And for the Barracudas, that's a lot of just skilled shots on goal and solo playing. So let's see if the teamwork will shine through for the Barracudas or if the give and go strategy of the Eagles will outshine the Barracudas.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to point it out again. This is in the last 4 games. Nano has switched cars 4 times, and that is not good for your mechanical prowess. It is going to make it so those more precise touches are harder to get. Luckily, however, Enzo has been popping off this series. I am going to give him a little bit of shine in the spotlight here. He's done a really good job of making these consistent, powerful shots towards the back of the net.
If the Barracudas win this one and bring themselves to match point, I'm interested to see if Nano changes their car again. But we'll have to wait and see because the next 4.5 minutes will tell. See, Wilds get demoed by Jababy, but it's not enough for the Barracudas to find the goal just yet. Jababy's going to center it up. And we have them dunk it down to a drift, but before they can, Nano steals it away.
Yeah, and oh.
That was quite a few touches, but Nano, it worked out.
A dirty flick. I was a little bit confused on what Nano's plan here was at the beginning, but he said, hold on, Tech. Yeah, I know what I'm doing here. And he takes this massive flick to the top corner. Ooh. Nobody can expect that. I wouldn't have expected that. But it could have been something that maybe the Barracudas could have responded to a little bit better if they had attacked that earlier instead of letting him kind of dribble around their net. Might have had better odds, but you never know.
It's all about that tempo, 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 in the words of Doc's keys to the game. We've got Wilds going for the shot on the goal. Unfortunately, it's just not enough momentum, and a mid-flight demo onto Enzo isn't going to be capitalized on for the Barracudas. Ball is on the back third of the Eagle side of the field, though. Enzo's just grabbing it, does not have pressure on them, sees that they don't, tries to give it to Wilds as they collide with Nif. Wilds now has the opportunity to bring it forward. Passes it to Enzo. Enzo pops it forward, sending it to Wilds, but before it reaches them, Baby gets in the way. Nano steals it away from Jababy. Wilds yet again with possession, trying to play it around a drift. Who's going to touch it first? It's going to be a drift, but it's dropped down onto Enzo's hood. Enzo now trying to take a shot, but it's disrupted by Jababy. Wilds is going to send it back to Enzo. Wilds instead has to take a shot themselves. Jababy slowing down a bit, takes possession, has to play it around 1. Can they? They will not, because Wilds is going to demo them right in front of the goal.
Yeah, ooh. This is the whole reason that we converted to play Eagles defense right there for a second was because of a double commit that ended up with, I believe, Wilds, maybe Enzo, one of the two of them bumping into Nano, which just changed the entire pace of that aggression and kind of forced them to play defense for a little bit, and they still haven't quite recovered from it.
Niv dunks the ball down at the mid to a drift. A drift sees the opportunity, and Jababy just kind of being present in the goal disrupted that keeper enough to not allow them to, elevate fast enough. Yeah, it looked like Nano was trying to allay the demo from Jababy and instead couldn't elevate in time to stop that shot on goal. So Barracuda's only down by 1, a little bit more than half of this match left.
Yeah, definitely an impressive use of teamwork there from the Barracudas, saying, hey, I got control of the ball. I'm not going to take an any faster shot here. If you can just make sure that he slows down or gets out of the way, this is a free net.
Eagles are still up by 1. Barracuda's looking for the equalizer. Awkward bounce off the crossbar allows Drift to come in for the follow-up touch, finding goal number 2. We are now tied 2-aside and just a little bit past the 2-minute 30-second mark.
Yeah, and Barracuda is, still impressive, finding a way to say, hey, we're not done with this series yet. You guys are stuck in here with us.
50-50 doesn't go in favor of anyone, and Nano can't be there to follow it up, so it does go into the back third of the Eagle side of the field. Wilds tries to play it around a couple, does manage to do so, but it's right in front of the goal, and a weird pass across the front of the goal, not something you really want to be doing, does not result in a goal scored for the Barracudas just yet. Jababy goes for the follow-up touch. It's taken a little bit too far to one side, though.
Yeah, this is an interesting change in pace. The 2-0 lead from the Eagles has now been eliminated, so we're back at 0-0 at that 2-minute marker again, which has happened more than once this series. And so we're really going to have to see, as the momentum shifts and evens out, which team is able to recover from the position they were in.
Ooh, Drift almost got it around 2, but is taken out. However, Jababy's going to take a Drift shot on goal and turn it into a goal for their side. So now Barracuda's up by 1. We still have over a minute left. Plenty of time for these teams to score a disgusting amount of goals, as we saw in game number 3, as both teams put up 4 goals in 1 minute apiece.
Yeah, and the Barracudas just said, hey, we got a cherry-pick play of our own here. And they launched it upfield after a kind of inconvenient demo for the Eagles. Definitely the game is still not over, though. 1:30 left. And we've seen a lot of impressive offense, especially from Enzo and Nano. And I'm really excited to see if they can bring this to yet another close overtime, or if it's just going to be going on into Game 7.
I personally want to see a game number 7, so that means the Barracudas need to maintain this lead, and I'm hoping they find another goal so they have that security goal available to them, so there isn't a buzzer beater opportunity for the Eagles. However, Eagles are hungry to find that equalizer right now. They're pushed pretty far forward, rotating back now. Back pass from Wilds to Nano in the corner on the back third, the Barracuda side of the field. Allows Jababy to capitalize on it, getting a couple touches for the Barracudas. However, they do lose out possession. Wilds centers it to Enzo, who pops it up, sends it to Nano. Nano drops the ball into the goal after a demo from Wilds. It's almost perfect, but it did get saved by Jababy.
That was almost a fantastic play. You got all 3 players involved on that offensive play. 1 person demo, 1 person pass, and 1 person shoot. But unluckily, the shot was just not quite in a place that wasn't able to be saved. And so great retaliation now from the Barracudas as it converts to the enemy team.
Ooh, that's a risky play from Nano, trying to carry the ball in their own goal box. However, for them, it did not result in a goal for the Barracudas. Now 10 seconds left on the clock. Wilds looking to find the equalizer for the Eagles to carry us into overtime. Will they get the buzzer beater? Will this be it? It might be. Ball now touches the ground and the round is over. Drift's going to make sure it happens. And Barracudas bring themselves to match point. Both teams tied 3 wins aside. Absolutely incredible.
That is an interesting fact that Booth's use was kind of exactly on half. I mean, don't look at that too much. But, wow, complete change in pace there from the Wolves. Even though they were down for a little bit there, you can see they had control of most of that game. They had the most shots, they had the most pressure. And honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, Game 7, this is as exciting as it gets. And I got to ask, was that last game before this one 2-3 as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so all these last 2 games, the most competitive ones we've had, have all been within 1 goal. You can really see the best gameplay coming out from both teams. Super excited to see what this Game 7 brings, and I got a little bit of the nerves. Do you have nerves?
Yeah. I mean, I get into this. I will start screaming for players if I have to. I mean, it's what makes it fun, at least in my opinion. And we can see some fantastic highlights from our Game 1 championship series between the Wolves and the Surge. However, now is the time to focus on our game number 7. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what I hoped for all evening. And it does not look like we'll see an immediate goal right away, but we might. Never mind. A Drift is going to take that away from the Eagles. There's a follow-up touch from Wilds, but the rotation already came back from Nano back to the back post. So Jababy's going to drop the ball down, leaving it for Nip. And between the 2 of them, though, Nano's going to get in the passing lane, go for a shot on goal. A Drift will collide with them in mid-flight, allowing Jababy to dunk it down. Enzo trying to maintain side control, has possession, but it might lose it out to one of the Barracudas members. They will. Drift's going to elevate with it, dunk it down towards the midfield where Jababy pops it up over Nano. Enzo racing back towards that goal, does not get a touch on it. Shot's going to roll right in from a Drift.
Yeah, this was just kind of chaos. Nano isn't able to get a touch here. Enzo barely whiffs. No one is back post. So, I mean, even with that kind of weird shot, there's not a whole lot to be done for the Barracudas. Open net, take the shot, take the free lead.
We've seen that one first goal easily get triumphed, though. However, you mentioned it earlier, a trend of whomever scores goal number 1 walks away with the win tends to ring pretty true here for Esports Tower. Let's see if the Eagles will answer that and caster curse us, though, and tell us, no, you're wrong, or the Barracudas will walk away with the victory. Either way, I hope these next 4 minutes are just absolute perfect Rocket League gameplays. We have Jababy carrying it around 2 players. Can't play it around the second, though. Nano dunks it away from them. Jababy somehow got possession again. Nif will pop it up. Is expecting a drift to catch it, but Wilds elevates first, dragging it down. Collides with Jababy, who volleys it to the midfield where a drift elevates. Nano, though, snagging it, dropping it down to, I believe, Enzo, yes, who brings it over to the back third of the Barracuda's side of the field.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up the statistic of who scores the first goal and who wins that game, therefore. And because I feel like the fact that the statistic says that the person who scores the first goal is more likely to win the game has not necessarily rung true with these teams. I mean, I think we've had 2 games that have been more than 2-0 leads now, that have been converted and taken either to overtime or just taken all the way to a loss. So it's interesting to see these teams battling it out so hard.
Well, that's exactly what we want from them. No match is over until the final buzzer rings, because we've even seen buzzer beater goals before that completely just boom the mental of the other team. And obviously something worked for both of these teams, as we're tied 3 wins per team, bring us all the way to game number 7. Jababy's trying to find a goal for their team as they're already up by 2, and Nano will get taken out by Jababy if the ball is now on the Barracuda side of the field. They have to play it around Wilds. They get that. There's no one at the goal just yet. Hits the crossbar. So the Eagles are saved for just a moment, and the return volley from Wild brings us into the backside of the Barracuda's half of the field.
Yeah, very close game still. Even with that 2-0 lead, the game is far from over, and there's still almost 3 minutes left of game to play. So I gotta hope that we still pull this out and get to a Game 7 overtime.
Got Enzo looking to find the first goal for the Eagles right now. Their shot's gonna be saved by Jababy. A drift is carrying the ball at the mid, but Nano jumps underneath them to snag the ball away. They're still maintaining possession, but they've chosen to rotate back, allowing Wild to get a touch on it. Ball's shot saved by, I believe, a drift, who's now carrying it forward, centering it up to Jababy. Jababy's going to bring it into the goal with a touch from a drift, but unfortunately Wilds was there at the perfect spot to save that shot on goal.
Yeah, and it feels like, honestly, what's plaguing the Eagles the most is a weak midfield presence, in that they maybe go back and forth for a little bit, but so much as one bad 50 happens, and it almost rolls all the way into their net. Whether that's the result of the bad 50 or just bad communication, not having someone back, something needs to change.
Well, they've got 1 minute and 50 seconds to clean it up and find what that missing piece is. They're still down by 2. Nano and Enzo looking to find the first goal for their team, but Baby takes it away, is now in the back corner on the Eagle side of the field, sends it to a drift, but it's cleared away by Enzo at the midfield, though Jababy was waiting. Getting ready to set up the return volley, instead passes it to the side of the field where Nif is waiting. They center it up. Jababy takes out Enzo. This is an opportunity for Barracudas to find another goal.
Yeah, definitely. The Barracudas are doing a really good job of keeping that pressure on and keeping possession. They understand. Ooh. Yeah, they understand. It seems as though they understand that they have the lead and they only need to play around their time at this point. A lot of back passes and looking for each other just to keep possession and try to keep the ball out of the enemy hands as much as possible.
And it did look like, unfortunately, Enzo had to disconnect. They immediately rejoined, but as I mentioned earlier, once the first goal is scored, the game continues. Now Barracuda's up by 3. There's still time for the Eagles to find plenty of goals. They put 4 goals up on that board before in 1 minute, and Nano's going to find the first of the 3 that they need to equalize this game out. Let's see if they can find the next 2 before that timer hits 0.
Yeah, and this might be all that the Eagles need to shift that momentum, just like I was talking about, the tempo that Doc also mentioned. It's super important, and it might be that Nano has found them a break point that could take them a little bit further now.
Well, the first 50-50 goes in favor of Jababy. They're going to spike it up. They see Nif, but Nif's going to choose to rotate back as Enzo dunks it down to the corner. A drift comes in, gets a touch on it. Wilds finds the clear. Jababy at the midfield, though, has very little pressure on them. We can already see Enzo's in that cherry-picking position again, but the Barracudas have finally rotated forward, taking away that easy goal-scoring opportunity. Ball is popped wide of the goal. Drift's going to drag it down to the midfield. Enzo goes for a shot, is immediately disrupted by a drift. Nano trying to get possession of it, will not touch it. Adrift has to play it around a couples. A weird double commit there happens between the Barracudas as it's carried down to the Eagle side of the field, and Baby finds goal number 4.
Yeah, and honestly, you can just feel the grip the Barracudas have tightening more and more on the Eagles. And you gotta wonder, like, are there any other adjustments? Is there enough time to make the adjustments that the Eagles need to make to get this done? And honestly, I'm starting to lean towards no.
We'll see. Nano has been a clutch player before. They can possibly do it again, and they will with the assist sending to Enzo, finding goal number 2. Just 2 more left to go. If they can score them in that quick a fashion, we could see this go into overtime.
Yeah, just a mistake off the wall. Didn't get the clear as soon as it hit the backboard. Very dangerous decision to be put in. You know, I'm never counting them out, but it's definitely pretty close still.
Give me 2 more of those. We're at the 25-second mark. Nano spikes it up the ceiling. Unfortunately, their teammates aren't there for the follow-up. Adrift has a weird dribble off the ground, so it allows the Eagles to get another touch on it, bringing it in front of the Barracudas goal, looking to dunk it down. Too many touches from Enzo, though, result in the ball getting cleared. 10 seconds left on the clock. Barracudas up by 2. Eagles looking for 2 more goals. No time left to do that. This ball hits the ground, and this game is over.
Enzo just leaves.
Adrift, are you doing it? You are doing it. All right. Barracudas managed to find a 5th goal and no time left on the clock. But with that, the Barracudas will walk away with the game for victory for themselves and walk away with the championship title.
Yeah, super impressive gameplay all around. And at the end of the day, kind of what I talked about earlier on, the Barracudas' consistent playstyle and consistent mentality of the game is what kept them in it. I think the inconsistent cherry picker playstyle is really cool to watch. It's really fun to get to see happen and unfold, but it's not that consistent. And finding that really positive and strong midfield play is definitely what broke through for the Barracudas as they just kind of laid in and got control right at the end there.
I honestly could not have asked for a better game. Going full 7 series is what I wanted from the beginning of this broadcast, and the Barracudas and Eagles definitely showed up and brought that dream to fruition. So congratulations, Barracudas, on your victory. And Eagles, possibly in not next week, but the week after when we go back into the championship series, you'll be able to topple the Barracudas and reclaim your spot at the top of that pedestal. But we'll have to wait and see in 2 more weeks. Before, though, I couldn't even get myself to it. It does going to look like we're going to have the player of the game. Actually, the overlay's not correct just yet. Who do you think it is?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. Maybe Enzo.
I
or Twiz.
I think it's probably, yes, it's Quad. Quad is going to do it. They are the shot taker, majoring in scoring at Esports Tower. Congratulations, Quad Dale. You are the ICCU player of the game. The player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members to achieve financial success. Quad Dale is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. So as we prepare to wrap things up, do you have any words of advice for all the teams that you saw today?
Well, I've said this more than once now, but definitely try to take something away that you can learn from it. But overall, if I had to give gameplay advice specifically, it's that the midfield seems to still be something that we've gotten a lot better at, but definitely needs some work still. A lot of freebies given and a lot of either too aggressive plays or not aggressive enough plays where the ball is either given away for free or when it goes badly, there's no one back to back us up.
All right, well, that is the big takeaways from the desk. And before we wrap things up, I want to congratulate all of our teams tonight because this is the closing out of our week, our spring week 1 Rumble. And big congratulations to Surge Blue and the Barracudas for winning the lower and the upper bracket grand finals respectively. Make sure to join us next week for week 2 of our Rumble with the fresh set of brackets and new teams all looking to claim the next top spot. That'll be next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we finish everything out, we'll close out with the top 5 praise of the game presented today by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering $20,000 in bonuses, and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there, so be sure to reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming.
tempo, that Doc also.
Quad Dale. Quad, though, not quite at the right angle and allows Quiz to come in, takes a shot on goal, and it will barely pinch off into the corner, into the back of the net.
Yeah, clear defensive breakdown here from the Wolves, as we had one guy in the way there, and then that guy just didn't have enough time to get boost and also show up. But you also have to hand it to Twiz. He did put it in the spot.
No time left to do that. This ball hits the ground, and this game is over.
Enzo just leaves.
Adrift. Adrift. Are you doing it? You are doing it. All right. Barracudas managed to find a 5th goal, and no time left on the clock. But with that, the Barracudas will walk away with the game for victory for themselves and walk away with the championship title.